Carla, what you working on?
A tweet.
A tweet? Who are you tweeting? Oh, awesome.
Um,
We're back.
we're back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Difficult Terrain. We're super psyched to have you all. And I am joined today by Carla Lerner Montero.
Howdy do.
Carla, why don't you tell the folks that are watching a little bit about yourself?
Well, I hail from Northern California, have settled for my adult life in New York. I'm trilingual, I act and I write, and I will be playing a drinking game this evening with my characters.
What
and
is
I
your
love,
drinking game?
I will be taking a drink every time Soren says, Mama!
All right. And so everyone, please pray
and
for
if you
Carla.
and if you think there's another thing I should take a drink for, say so in the Twitch stream chat. Yeah.
I will as well, but I've got water, so I'll just end up having to pee a lot. But
A small plug for if you are one of the rare people in this world that doesn't hate clowns and mimes and actually loves them, I'm your people. Come at me.
I didn't know that. I have no problem with mimes or clowns. I feel like,
they get a lot of hate, but I
Yeah.
think they're actually very pure and good.
Yeah, they're an easy target. Okay, so let's talk one more thing. Who is, so far we've revealed the Scouts,
Yes.
the Onslaught Vanguard, and the Wonder Traps. Which of those three parties includes your favorite of your characters?
Oh, that's tricky. And there's a lot of fun in playing Olga, but I think at the end of the day, Jade is probably my favorite.
I do have a soft spot for Jade.
Yeah, Jade, my Wander Trap.
Yeah,
I know. Poor Jade.
Yeah, every time. Yeah.
I'm very familiar with being a younger sibling, being owned by an older sibling, so maybe I just connect to Jade.
Yeah.
I'd say that Olga and Jade were the characters more in my wheelhouse, and Roderick and the character that players haven't met yet are the ones that were me challenging myself a little bit.
And I think Roderick really came out well. Just a fun character.
Roderick was the trickiest, but I love him.
Yeah, that whole party really it's such a different kind of breath of fresh air from the other parties who are going through such serious things. They're very, very happy-go-lucky. It's awesome.
Well, it's hilarious to me because I know you were trying to create like they were supposed to be like the grim, dark, gritty party, like the Dark Scouts. For me, like Roderick is really. I was thinking about what a warlock is essentially, and it's somebody making a bargain that they really shouldn't for power. And I was like, oh, that's a businessman. And that's how Roderick was born.
Yeah, we had envisioned the Scouts party a little different than it turned out, but that's the beauty of a game like this where you trust your players to come up with interesting backstories and interactions with each other, and you let them just kind of evolve organically. And it turned out to be way more fun than anything we could have forced on the players. So that was a lot of fun. So what are, for you, what are the biggest challenges of playing essentially up to 4 games at once?
I mean, honestly, keeping track of what particularly my high level characters can do. Because when I've played high level characters in the past, I sort of like built those abilities gradually.
Right.
And I also made my life unnecessarily hard because 3 out of my 4 characters are classes that I have never played before, just because I don't know why. So like I feel like people would probably think that the tricky thing was keeping track of who they are and the stories, and I thought that was going to be the hard part. But that actually, and maybe it's because you and Tom did such a good job, but that actually was one of the things that was the most fun about the whole thing, and didn't really throw me off. It was keeping track of what my characters could do at any given moment that was hard.
Yeah, absolutely. From the DM side as well, you guys have so many different abilities across all the different characters, and even ones that are similar, have differences that are so significant. It was a lot to keep track of, but looking forward to digging back into that for season 2 in a couple of weeks here. So before we get going, we want to first thank 20-Sided Store and Lauren Belanco, who is hosting us on their Twitch channel, 20-Sided TV. Thank you all for supporting the store. They have weathered the coronavirus pandemic really well, and they're it's the leadership there that has really done that. and allowed them to keep going. So please support your local gaming store because they are, just a foundation of the community that we all love. And they were wonderful, allowed us, to use their space. And we really can't thank them enough. We also want to thank all the sponsors that we've thanked before, but they'll actually be thanked in the episode itself. The new one we do want to announce, though, is just for this episode, the next one is McClure's Pickles. Now, we're going to talk a lot about McClure's in the episode, but there is a discount code, a real live discount code. So anybody watching this, write it down, and it will actually give you a real discount on products that you can purchase with money. So thank you to McClure's Pickles. And last, I think we should talk about the Roots Project. So Project Roots is an immersive social justice and human relations experience for high school students. Every summer, they bring together kids from all walks of life for a residential program exploring equity, identity, and social justice. Delegates learn to challenge bias and oppression, forming bonds of community that shape them for the rest of their lives, and they have a lot of fun in the process. One thing to note about Roots is they are all volunteer staff. They are a 501c3 charity, so no one takes a penny. Every dollar they raise goes towards subsidizing tuition for students because they believe that money should never be a barrier to kids being able to be part of this transformative experience. So we have partnered with Roots and we are attempting to raise some money. If we can hit our goal of $750, that will be enough to send one delegate to Project Roots next summer for free. So that would be amazing. And we invite you all to go to inclusiveroots.org/donate and give what you can. We will flash the link throughout the episode. And everyone who has just supported already, thank you so much. That is just incredible and so generous, and we love you. All right, so here we go. We are picking up episode 5. The Onslaught Vanguard is
it's an
locked.
odd number episode, so I'll be sleepy.
Yeah, yes, exactly. You can all tell because we have the odd number episodes were shot first at like 6 a.m. and then the even numbers ones come a little later in the morning, so everyone's a little refreshed. This one, the Vanguard, is in some trouble. They're facing a foe, the likes of which they have not encountered in a long time. They may be a little rusty after years of retirement. The Wander Traps we actually did not visit too much last time, but they had just finished crossing a harrowing trip across a creek that resulted in some crab death and perhaps the death of a crab god. We don't know. And our third party, the Scouts.
But no goat deaths.
No zero goats were harmed in the making of this show. And that was a surprise because when we first did that scene, I think my exact words were, okay, a claw reaches up out of the water and just snaps the goat in half. But we rolled the damage the next episode to see, and it actually survived, and it was miraculous. So that goat is still kicking. And then there's the Scouts who are making their way toward the city of Tourmaline. And that is the former capital of the Crown's colony on Akram. And of course, Akram is the mysterious island where everyone is and had been a huge bastion of wealth and was exploited for its resources by all of its colonial masters for hundreds of years. And then about 250 years ago, it vanished. And just recently, it's reappeared. And the race is on to reconquer this wild continent and all the colonial, problems that come with that. But that's, colonialism going to do colonialism. So let's see where that leads them. And away we go. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Carla. That was awesome.
Yeah. To adventures.
Hi, and welcome back to Difficult Terrain, the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play series where everything is 2 to 4 times harder than it needs to be. I'm Adam DeLeo, one of your co-DMs. With me, as always, is Tom Woodley.
I can say my own name because I am your other co-DM.
He could have, but I did it. Yeah. We are joined, as always, by our fantastic cast. We're actually going to go reverse order because we always go this way. We're going to start with Danielle Cohn.
Oh gosh, I wasn't ready. Hello.
We got Maximilian Clark, who's still frozen in a block of ice.
Frozen.
and very in character. We have Soren Kissel.
Hey.
We have Carla Lerner Montero.
Yes.
And we have Pontius Hans Odaga.
I know there.
We'd also like to thank our men behind the curtain. We have our associate producer, David Haskell, and Hiram McLaren Becker of the Cannery Collective. And of course, we want to start off by thanking our wonderful host, 20-Sided Store here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yes.
Really the premier gaming emporium in Brooklyn and New York and the universe. We also want to thank our returning sponsors, Artisan Dice, who gave us these fantastic, incredible, beautiful wooden and howlite and hops-made dice. We want to thank Dogmite Games, who gave us these gorgeous DM screens that you can see here with this initiative tracker on top. And we'd like to thank our new sponsor for episodes 5 and 6, McClure's Pickles.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and read the ad copy that our friend Bob McClure over at McClure's Pickles gave us. I'm going to read it word for word. We're always in a pickle here at Difficult Terrain.
That's not wrong.
Yeah. And that's okay,
Where are the
because we are brined up with McClure's. No, this is actually not one of the in-kind sponsors. They just gave us money, which is...
We love
like
that.
We like that, too.
We love
So,
money.
so that's no on the pickles.
That's a no on the pickles, but there's a grocery store. We're going to take
Yeah,
care
we're
of it.
gonna have pickles very soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of pickles. Lots of
We'll
pickles.
be actually munching them
Yeah.
during.
Oh wait, all right, you're guys, you're ruining my. All right, so we're gonna take from the top here. 'Cause
Take it
this,
from
our
the top.
sponsors deserve nothing but the best.
Yes.
We're always in a pickle here at Difficult Terrain, and that's okay because we are brined up with McClure's Pickles. Spells down the best, crunchiest pickles in any RPG world you can get your dice on. And the best snack you could have available when you want to ward off that scurvy spell your opponent just cast. I don't know if there are opponents in D&D, but Difficult Terrain viewers can save 20% when they order anything at McClures.com. That's MCCLURES.com. When they enter the code Difficult Terrain, all one word, there's a couple of T's in the middle there, at checkout. Enter Difficult Terrain at checkout on McClures.com and save 20%.
There you go. That's how you
And
get
that's
the
a real
pickle.
thing. And McClure's Pickles is the bomb. They've been around for a long time. They actually started right up the street in Brooklyn, and now they're Brooklyn and Detroit. Yeah, that's a real code. A real code,
Can you
everyone.
believe
So
that?
go and use
It's
that.
like,
Get some
we are
delicious
big time,
pickles.
man. We got
They
codes.
do Bloody
Amen.
Mary mix. They do all kinds of things. So go and
Yeah.
get your pickle on.
The relish, by the way, is incredible. That's
Yeah.
my
Can't
favorite.
believe there's not a relish pun in there.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're gonna do it better next time. Next time it'll be way more puns.
All right, so here we go. Now,
Add some more into the fray.
on the continent of Akram, we have 3 different groups of characters, as you are aware.
So
we have
far.
so far we have the Wander Trap family heading towards their farm. We have the Scouts heading upriver to the city of Tourmaline. But now we are finding the van, the members of the Onslaught Vanguard.
But first, we're gonna take a 20-minute pause to see how long Maximilian can hold that. All right, so Onslaught Vanguard, you find yourselves, some of you, in the Hall of Sovereigns, in the River Meet, the building, the upside-down pyramid in the center of the City of Peace, Igrithian. You have engaged in deadly combat with the sorcerer Ageless Ta Heralt and his pet Blob, and it has not gone according to plan. Whereas the Vanguard, as most recently seen, really beating down a Kraken in its home environment, here they find themselves on the ropes. They were tasked with the mission of protecting Princess Athliel, the Dawn Star, daughter of King Rufus III of the Crown. And they brought her to this place where she was to take up the crown seat at the fabled five-toothed table of the Pentabulary. And that's when things went wrong. Ageless Ta Heralt insisted on fealty to him as the regent of the entire island of Akram. A fight broke out when Maccabee kicked in the door, guns blazing, and shot a spell at the sorcerer. His pet Blob, camouflaged along the ceiling, dropped into the fight and began lashing out with pseudopod-like tentacles that grappled one and then another, drawing you in. Where we find ourselves now. The princess, evacuated by her 2 knight bodyguard escorts, Lusar and Terrell, with her husband, Elaine, the Duke of Brigganson, have fled the Pentabulary and are making their way even now down towards street level, hopefully to safety. Maccabee and Iera are also outside the Hall of Sovereigns. They have escaped the immediate hall where the threat is. Maccabee attempted to pick up Iera, sprout his Aasimar wings, and fly them both to safety. But Iera wisely resisted this attempt to pick her up and stayed on the balcony. Maccabee was hit with a tentacle as he flew backwards, and that was enough to knock him down. He fell, and upon taking the damage, it triggered his reaction, which allowed him to encase himself in a block of ice, giving him plenty of temporary protection as he fell to the ground below. Ira, below 1 hit points, is on the balcony. In the Hall of Sovereigns, with the blob, are Sir Bornoth the Brutal, his sister Dame Olga, and most especially Bogwood, first of the van, who leads the group, has found himself engulfed in this huge, translucent, blackish purple blob. He's in there with ageless Taharald, who's riding it around like a gelatinous mech suit. Only his head and one of his arms are exposed on the outside, even as he taunts Bornoth and Olga. Most recently, it was Olga's turn, and as Bogwood resigned himself to his fate, telling his friends to run and save themselves, he looked at Olga through the murk of this blob, and giving her his inspiration, Olga was able to hack herself free from the pseudopod that was grappling her. And now both Sir Bornoth is at the doorway of the Hall of Sovereigns, Olga a little further back, and the blob with Bogwood and ageless Taharald inside. It is still Olga's turn. Your action is done, but you still have any bonus action or movement. Olga, what do you do?
So what I want to do is go actually towards the blob and see if I can reach in and grab Bogwood out.
You certainly can try. So give me a strength check. There's no skill check attached to this. It's just your strength modifier and nothing else.
Oh, you rolled the wrong dice.
Woo!
Yeah, there you go.
Yay!
Artisan dice
Another
also
D20
will
here.
magically swap a d12 for a 20 when the roll goes badly.
Oh.
All right, second chance here.
You got this. That's my inspiration. You got this.
All right, what do we got?
11.
Now, is that 11 total?
Yeah.
Okay. And you are raging still, correct?
Yes.
Which means you have an advantage on this.
Hey.
Sweet.
Yes, third time's the charm, baby.
Wait, do the 12 again, just in case.
No, that's better. That's better. That is 14.
14 is not enough.
But it is better, so hey.
So you reach your arm in. You attempt to grab Bogwood. You catch hold of a piece of Bogwood's aspenwood form, and you actually grasp some of the twigs of his upper arm, and you pull back with all your orcish fury, and some of it snaps off in your hand. And you take 14 points of acid damage just for sticking your arm in after Bogwood.
I can take it.
And that is, unless you have any movement you'd like to make. And really, that was an action we're going to let you do it anyway in the interest of narrative, so yeah.
Okay. No, that's it.
All right. So, and you're staying right next to the blob.
Well, yeah, because I want to try to pull him out again.
Okay. So Olga stays next to the blob. It is now the blob's turn.
Are we here? It's a little bit
And it's not like I can get out
Here,
of
I
the
got
blob.
this one right here.
Okay.
So we were at...
No, we're actually, that's
Right?
the knight's turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, the knights are beating a hasty retreat, I believe.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, no one can see the knights right now, along with the nobles. You can't really see where they are. Actually, which brings us to Iera's turn. You are up on the balcony,
Yeah.
and you just watched Maccabee fall down.
Yes. Do I have a clear shot to shoot a lightning bolt at the blob?
Yeah,
'Cause
you're
I'm on
in the
balcony,
doorway,
I
sure.
know he's in the doorway,
Yep.
but I think I can shoot past him.
Absolutely.
Great. Then I'm gonna shoot a third level lightning bolt at it, which is a dex save for him.
Dex save, you're shooting the blob or you're shooting the guy?
Is Taharol in?
He is in it.
So I think it's sort of 6 of one, half dozen the other,
Okay.
right?
And actually, I mean, he's sticking out of it enough that I think you can get them both. So
Great.
I'll give.
That would
yeah.
be my shot. Is I would try
Yep.
to shoot.
So
both.
we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do
Yeah.
a dex save first for the sorcerer,
Great.
and that is a 12 plus 4 is a 16. Your DC is what?
17.
All right, so he fails.
All right.
And then we'll do the blob as well. A blob only gets a +1 here. That is a 6. So go ahead and
Sweet.
roll your damage.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so that's.
Oh, actually,
gonna
though,
be...
before you roll the damage, I'm sorry. The
Yeah.
sorcerer is going to use one of his legendary resistances. So that means he's going to automatically succeed, but they both will take half damage.
Sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna borrow a couple of your d6s because that's 9d6 plus 7, because I can deal an automatic 7
Yep.
damage to using my Heart of the Storm,
Do it.
because it is lightning damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, thanks, man.
First. First.
Great.
First and first.
Oil can what?
First and first.
Okay. 4. No, yeah. 5. Sorry. I'm like struggling
As
to
the ice
get
begins
these
to melt, you
amazing
hear
dice
Matt.
out. We love them. They're amazing. They're gonna kill this freaking godforsaken blob. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Come on. All right. So that is 9, 10, 20, 20, 26, 31. 31.
31.
7.
All right, divided by 2. Oh, plus 7.
Or
so
no, 31, and they're taking half. Does he get half damage on my heart?
It's it's the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
So
So 31 plus 7, so
38.
30.
So halved to 19.
yeah.
Very good though. A significant hit on both of them,
Cool.
and you can still move or take any bonus actions.
Cool. Let's say. No, I think that's my turn. I think I'm
Okay.
gonna. I think I maybe take a step or two down the stairs.
Okay.
But I'm still within shooting range.
All right. So you want to maintain line of sight on the blob in the middle of the room. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Got it. And actually, are you going down? There's the two sides of the stairs. There were 2 of those little flat puddles working their way up. One of them was destroyed by the knight. The other side has one of those puddles working its way up.
The one destroyed by the
Okay,
knight, which is
alright.
how I was picturing it anyway, because I think it's that side. Because I was following the nobles
Yeah,
down.
totally.
So
All right,
that's
so
the
you're
side
down,
this is doing.
and that little puddle
Yeah.
is still kind of moving slowly.
Cool.
All right, that is Iera's turn. It is now Harald's turn, and Harald is going to go ahead and he's going to lean out. He's outside of the blob enough that he's going to point a finger between Boranoth and Olga, and I need you both to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
I believe I have advantage on that.
This guy.
You do. You can see
I
it
hate
back.
this guy. There you go. Nice.
Alright, so that's a nat 18.
All right, go ahead and add your modifier. I believe that's going to be enough for you, but let's just make sure.
So that's 20.
20 is the DC, so you actually do succeed.
Oh my god.
How did Boranoth do?
Well, he got a 15, which in his defense is
Oh, wait,
the
no.
highest dexterity roll he's ever made.
All right.
It actually would have been 25. I did that wrong.
He has ever been.
He like leaned to the
Would have been
side.
25.
It's like the Matrix.
All right, so Boranoth, you're going to take 25 points of damage this round. Dame Olga, you're going to take 12.
Woo.
That is going to be his turn, and he's going to stay. He's actually going to tuck himself back inside of the blob for safety, and that will be the end of his turn. It is now Maccabee's turn.
It's not a retreat when he does that. It's not an attack of opportunity moment.
No, he's still within range of you. He just has total cover, so he's right next to you. Yeah.
Sir Boranoth is now leaning on the doorframe, holding himself up.
All right. Greener than he was. He's actually whenever orcs get like sickly and injured, they actually turn like a nice rosy pinkish.
Yeah,
They look very healthy.
He's very flushed.
All right, Maccabee's turn. You are frozen in a block of ice. What happens?
I think he wants to check, investigate or wow, my brain just started
This is not going to get old enough.
investigation.
Definitely, let's keep this.
Yeah, he just wants to like look at the blob, see how it's doing.
You are down about 20 feet down, so you actually can't see anything.
He wants to see where the princess is.
The princess, you can't see her. She's down a
She's
level
down
below
the
you.
stairs.
You can see through the icy haze of your like ice sarcophagus. You can't see. There's no one there around you except for that gnome who's behind the podium.
Kill
He's
it.
like, name,
Yeah.
name.
Fucking asshole. Sorry.
Thank God for that. All right, so you come out of your ice sarcophagus. All of your temporary hit points are gone.
Yes.
And what do you do?
But no, it's the end of my turn.
Oh, that's the end of your turn. All right. Well played. Well played.
Good mount.
All right. All right. That is the end of Maccabee's turn. All right. Now, it's the blob's turn. The first thing that happens on the blob's turn, before the blob itself does anything, Olga, Boranoth, and Bogwood, a little obscured, harder for you to see, but everyone else, you see through all those doors, that are lining this hall of sovereigns.
Oh no.
The crack around the door begins to seep with some sort of purplish jelly. And as you watch, it begins to flood through the cracks and form up into more of these flat puddles. So not the giant blob, but those flat puddles you saw before, and those start making their way towards you. There's about 6 of them that have entered the room now, all from to the side or behind you, and they're making their way. They don't move fast, but they can cover about 40 feet a turn because they're dashing. They're doing as far as they can get. So they're getting pretty close.
They're dashing. They're very handsome.
They're dashing, yeah. So they're debonair jellies. That's a creature, the debonair jelly. Maccabee, you also see from cracks in the stonework in the hall in which you are, rising from behind the chairs that line the perimeter, you're watching as additional of these flat puddles begin to emerge and start coming toward you. Iera, you also see coming down from a crack in the wall by the ceiling behind you, another one begins to seep in and starts to make its way toward you.
This is the worst day ever.
The one that was making its way up the stairs already, that was close to the surface, or close to the landing, goes inside the Hall of Sovereigns. And Bornoth, Olga, and Bogwood, you watch as it actually goes adjacent to the blob, merges with it, and you watch the blob get bigger.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
As you do that, as that happens, the blob it looks at you, I guess.
Blobs at you.
It's gonna go. Yeah,
Just in case it only has like 4 hit points left, which I think is probable.
it's wounded. That's right. I'm sorry.
It takes
Please roll your
necro damage.
Yep. Roll your damage.
I don't remember if it's 1 or 2.
Is it the top of its turn or the bottom?
Top?
Okay, roll the damage.
Top.
It's 1d4. It is wounded indeed.
Yeah, this blob is
So that would happen before it was joined too, right?
Yes, we'll do that. Absolutely, absolutely.
And can you also give us what our passive perception would be of like, does the blob look fine? Does it look
I can tell
bloody?
you, it has
Like-
looked. If we were classifying things under the old 3.5 4th edition bloodied, yeah, I would say bloodied is fair. It's a damage sponge. I mean, it had a lot of hit points. It's definitely hurt. Some of the wounds that you carved into it did not stitch themselves back up, and they're just kind of seeping this foul viscous fluid.
All right, so it's for its final 2 hit points.
Yeah.
I got a 3.
Okay.
Damn.
It takes those 3 points of damage, and it certainly does. That happens.
Wait, certainly does die?
No, it certainly
does
takes that
take
damage.
damage.
And what is it again? It's a what is the saving throw? It gets a con, right?
Yeah, DC 15.
Yeah. That is a natural 19, so it's no longer wounded.
No.
That's okay. The damage is done. Those 3 hit points are going to be what
Still
sends
wounded.
it
It's
sends
just
it running.
not doing that thing.
Okay, so the first thing is at the beginning of its turn, Bogwood, you take 35 points of acid damage,
Okay, that's halved.
and that's halved down to 17 for you.
Okay.
Does that render you unconscious?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm
Bogwood's
almost there.
still hanging in there.
Shoot.
Was in the safest spot he can be then.
He really is. It's then going to make its pseudopod attacks, and the first one is going to come for Suborno.
I'm stressed.
That's a natural 13 plus 11 is a 24.
Oh, no.
All right, so 24, you take 19 bludgeoning and 7 acid. All right.
Bornoth goes down.
Okay. And you were also, Sir Bornoth is also grappled. It is now going to, you watch as Bogwood's body is actually, it ejects his body onto the floor. And you watch Bogwood, who is on death's door, kind of roll out of it. And he's covered in the slime, not just the slime of the blob, but his own internal kind of membrane that you watched him extrude earlier that gave him these kind of ooze-like properties. And you wonder for a second why the blob would have released him. When
It's
suddenly
allergic to bogwood.
another pseudopod rears up from above and
no.
crushes down on Bogwood's prone form. So because Bogwood is prone, it's at advantage. That's a 10, that's a natural 18, that's a 29, that's going to hit. So you also take 19 points of bludgeoning and 7 acid damage divided by 2 down to half, so that's 3. So you're going to take 22 points of total damage.
22.
And you are also grappled. And you're both right next to it. It still has 2 pseudopod attacks. The next one is coming for Dame Olga.
And also.
That is a 7 plus 11, that's 18, so that's going to miss, right?
That's gonna miss.
Okay, so it lashes at Dame Olga but misses. And its final one, it does have line of sight to Iera. It has a 20-foot reach, so it's coming at you. That is a crit.
Success or failure?
Sorry, that is a natural 20.
Oh gosh.
Right, so that's
Okay.
going to be 38 points of bludgeoning plus 14 points of acid.
Oh
So
my
that's
God.
52 points.
I'm so dead.
That's
I'm
okay.
beyond dead.
It is
Well, you're
not
not
enough. That's
all the
not
way.
enough to
Yeah.
instant kill you
Right.
because that doesn't exceed your maximum hit points, but you are unconscious. So we have
Great.
1, 2, 3 unconscious. You are all grappled. It will now use its reel in ability where it draws you all to it because the two of you are adjacent to it already. You are immediately sucked inside. You are pulled 10 feet closer, so you are now 10 feet from it and right at that doorway, and
Totally
it's pulling at
unconscious.
you, and you're totally unconscious. Exactly. And that is the blob's turn. You do see some spiky little antenna kind of jutting out and vibrating out it as the puddles near it. Little spikes begin to jut out of them, almost as in response. And that is the blob's turn. It is now Sir Bornoth, who's unconscious. I need a death saving throw, please.
It's just a straight up roll, right?
Straight up roll. All you gotta do is get 10 or more.
Okay, cool. I've never done this before.
Hey, the odds are in your favor on this. This is like playing house money here.
I'm so stressed.
9.
That is one fail. Please mark that down.
Yeah.
All right, that is Sir Bornoth's turn. Athliel and Elaine, it is their turn now. No one can see them, so presumably they're still running. You all have no idea.
The amount of time this week that I spent thinking about what I was going to do with my one turn before I went down.
Same,
now,
honestly.
It is now
Also
Bogwood's
same.
turn. Bogwood, I need a death save from you.
15.
Hey!
All right, 15 is a success. And if either of you would like to attempt to communicate something to Olga, who is still conscious outside the blob, I will let you do that. It would be muffled, but there's nothing that says that you can't hear, so you have the ability to kind of give her some kind of indication of communication if you wish.
Even as unconscious?
Yeah,
Even as
like I'm saying that you're going to get this one shot as you're being kind of dragged in to retroactively,
Oh, God.
talk to her.
Like, yeah, a final word. Man. This,
Borno says, the princess who has the princess.
please live.
All right. At this point, what I want everyone to do is
I'm misty.
everyone has a card in front of them with your name on it. I want you to just take a moment, do it quickly, and what I would like you to write down is what your van character desires most in this moment. Just do it quickly. Think about it, and just write down whatever comes to mind. Don't spend a ton of time because it's dead air. But I want you to think about what your character desires most, and you can just set that card aside. We'll collect them later, and we'll of course score them on a bell curve. Yeah, you can fold it.
It's the sad final wishes moment. I mean, music.
All right, take a few more seconds to finish writing. All right, let's pencils down, everyone. Turn your papers over. Anyone seen writing in answers after the timer has sounded will not go to college.
Oh no.
I don't know. How does that, is that how the SAT works? Do they still have the SAT? I don't know.
Millennials kill
No, that's
everything.
All right. All right, now that everyone has written that down, we will jump right back into things. And so we're still in the middle of combat. It is now, in fact, Dame Olga's turn.
They're ones that are passed out or grappled.
They are actually restrained inside of it. So yes. Except for Iera, who is restrained outside of it, about 10 feet away. She's in the doorway, and one of those pseudopods is kind of pulsating, has her grabbed around the middle, but she is also slumped over unconscious.
Can I cut through it if I have a successful attack, can I cut through to any of them?
Can you cut to them?
Yeah.
I mean, you could try. That's a more challenging thing than just yanking one out, because as you've seen, every time you slash at this, it just kind of closes up over the hole you
Okay,
make.
so who can I reach?
You can certainly reach Iera. You can certainly hack her free. You could use your action to dig an arm in and try and pull someone out from inside it, as you did last time, or you can attempt to save her, or you can make your way out, or you can do anything else.
Well, she's gonna try to save somebody. Who am I closest to right now?
You are closest to the blob. You're right next to it. So you're
of my party members.
equal distance. I would say that Yera is the furthest from you. She's about she's like you're between her and the blob. Your brother and Bogwood are both inside, all within reach right now. All right, what are we doing?
I'm thinking about what they would want,
Yep.
and so I'm gonna try to grab Yara and get out.
All right, so you're gonna try and cut the tendril that's holding her, or you're gonna try and just pull her out. You can try either one.
What are
What you've grasped is that last time you tried to get someone out, 14 wasn't enough to overcome this thing's strength. You also cut yourself free. You did 21 points of damage, and that was enough to cut yourself free. So that's roughly what you would know. And you are-
21 points of damage is all I need.
That was enough to
cut
hack
her
yourself
free.
free last time. You don't know how much less than that would do it, but certainly that was enough that got you
All right,
out.
then I'm gonna try to hack her out.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Okay. And don't have advantage on this.
Or that's a D12 against
Uh, well, you can give yourself advantage. I think if you go reckless, right? Is that
Right, but then things would have an advantage against you.
against you.
Yeah.
Well, you get a couple attacks.
You get a couple attacks.
How badly could you roll?
So that's
Now you
21.
get 3
that will hit?
Great.
I'm delighted.
So that's 2d6. So that is 9 to start.
Okay. Yep.
Plus 7.
Okay, 16 total.
Okay, and then I will attack
Second
again.
attack. Yep.
That's where you're raging +3 also.
Oh, I'm raging, so oh, wait, what?
Yeah, so 19.
So
So
19
19.
total. Okay. It's hanging on by the tiniest of threads.
So that is 19.
That will hit.
So that is 10 to start.
And that is more than enough.
Great.
It had 1 hit point left for that tendril. As you cut the last bit of tendon, it retracts back like a rolling up window blind. And the part that's around Yara withers and melts right off of her, and she slumps into your arm.
Can I ask a small question?
Yeah.
That part that, not that Yara would be able to see this, but just visually, does the part that melts off of her like dissipate, or does it become one of those puddles?
No, it's inert on the ground, and it actually darkens to almost like a tarry brown, as if whatever life force was sustaining it is no longer pumping into this.
Cool, so it
it's
just, like,
dead,
shrivels
dead.
and dies,
Yep, and it's gross for sure,
Great.
but it doesn't seem to be harmful anymore. And actually, it's like like in Aliens, how the acid blood neutralizes on you. Okay, when the alien dies, when it dies, then
It's a movie.
It's a movie. It's really good.
Viewers who haven't seen it.
Oh man,
It's really good.
all right, it was the
I've
40th
seen that
anyway.
movie.
Okay, so you have your. I'm not going to make you make a grapple check to pick her up. You've got her in your arm. You're plenty strong to carry her out. You have bonus action and movement left. What would you like to do?
I have bonus action and movement or movement.
You both.
Okay. So I will.
And your movement is 40. And when you're carrying someone, you can actually, if you were grappling someone who's resisting, it would cut your speed in half. But because she is just dead weight, and you can carry more than enough, you get your full 40 to move.
Okay, which would put me out of range.
Yes.
Great.
Well, you can go all the way down the steps, down the landing, and make your way to Maccabee, and even past Maccabee, beginning down the spiral stairs to that.
I will do that, and my bonus on top of movement will be to throw a healing potion on her.
Yeah,
You
and
said
actually, yeah,
you did.
because our house rule is that a healing potion is a bonus action.
Yes.
So that's a greater healing potion. So go ahead and roll. It's 44 plus 8, I believe, is what a greater does. Somebody check me on that.
No. 40. Oh, 4D.
4d4.
I thought it
Yeah.
was 44. I was
I
like,
know.
I drank 2 of those.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's 4d4 plus 4, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
That is correct.
A lot of 4s in there. 44.
Wait,
44.
am I able to drink that, or do I still have to just
She's
say
pouring it
the
down your
12?
throat.
Three.
Yeah, so she just kind of like does like the open the jaw thing, and it's magic. So the moment it
It is
touches you,
magic.
it explodes into rainbows and butterflies.
Oh my gosh, so I don't...
She splashes it into your eyes, which is the quickest way to get a healing time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13.
All right, so you get 13 15 points of healing.
Wait, so how do I?
So you're allowed
So I
to
do
Right
just
there,
you're
say
conscious.
success.
No, on D&D
No.
Beyond,
Right.
you just go ahead and plug in 13 hit points and click the heal
So
button.
right.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
It'll
sorry,
automatically wipe
learning.
out your death throws,
Okay.
and you're back conscious. You're still in her arms, but you are
Sweet.
conscious.
Oh, and
I say
for your
that. I
turn,
say
too.
wake up. Sweet.
And so that is Dame Olga's turn.
Oh, no.
You make it down past Maccabee. Is there anything you say to Maccabee as you go past?
Oh yeah, you're just there.
Yeah,
Alive.
I'm thawed again. I'm just like covered in just like chunks of ice and like
Yep.
water is just slooshed off.
You're a big Maccabee slushy.
Yes.
Ah.
Blue raspberry.
Any message for Maccabee as you pass? You're charging past him, Yara on your shoulder.
They told us to go.
All right, and it is now Yara's turn. You come to consciousness over.
Actually, I think I would just scream go.
All right. This
You're
is possibly.
holding me though, right? I'm
Yeah.
still being.
Actually, how do you hold her? Is it like a fireman's carry over the shoulder, or is it like a
Yes.
baby carry?
No, the fireman's carry over the
Alright.
shoulder.
This is
That's awesome.
probably a familiar feeling
Yeah.
for the squishier van members being over Olga or Borno's shoulder. You can tell it's Olga because you're not being stabbed by the spiky parts of Borno's armor.
Yes.
It is your turn. What would you like to do?
Sorry, so we're 40 feet from the blob.
Yeah, you are so far removed now that it's out of line of sight because she
the stairs,
took
I
you
think.
out of the Hall of
Okay,
Sovereigns.
cool. So I
down
can't shoot something even if I've
No.
got like a 60 or 100 foot range.
It's just
Great.
there's no line of sight.
Then
So they would see at this point perhaps the knights.
I could heal
and
myself a little
no.
more.
The knights have been going on their turn. They've been going
So they're in
full
the, they're in
tilt.
the level below.
Yep.
Okay.
So the knights
Cool.
are you'll see the knights if you keep going this way eventually. You're pretty confident there's only one way to go from here.
Great. All right. I think I cast false life on myself.
All right, you get some temporary hit points.
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Or hang on. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm gonna do that. I think that's
Okay.
all I can
Are you going to stay on her shoulder? Or are you going to hop down and run yourself?
do. Will I have my full speed?
Yep.
Yeah. Hop down and run.
Okay. So you're gonna hop down and dart ahead of
Yeah.
Olga. I mean, in real time, this would be guys who are just keeping pace, but for purposes of going turn based, you are ahead of her, and that's actually enough because you were already on the spiral stair. That's enough to get you down to the base of the pyramid, right at the doorway, and you see before you the doorway you entered in. There's a nice wide open courtyard around the pentabulary building, and sure enough, way far away, maybe 100 yards distant, because they've been really trucking, is one of the knights. It's Lusar, and he's kind of flagging you down, beckoning you toward him. So that's Ira's turn. All right, it's now Harald's turn, and on Harald's turn, the only person who can see this is Maccabee. The blob, he reaches his head out of the blob so he can see. He smiles at you and says, "See you soon." And he waves his hand, and stone erupts from the floor in the doorway of the Hall of Sovereigns, completely blocking the Hall of Sovereigns off from you. So you are now completely separated by, one might say, a wall of stone. And that's his turn, as far as you can see. It is now your turn, Maccabee.
So the gnome is here with his book.
The gnome is there with the book.
All right. I'd like to put down my name.
Okay.
I would like the book to make a DC 18 Dex save.
It fails.
The book,
The
not
book
the guy.
fails.
Okay, great. So it's going to. Oh, I'm in my radiant form, so it automatically takes 13 radiant damage, 5 fire damage, and now 3d8s.
He's mad at that.
No, wait. Do you lose your radiant form if you go unconscious?
No.
Okay, great. Or you actually weren't
I
unconscious.
wasn't unconscious.
You were
I was
incapacitated.
Right, I was frozen with my wings out.
Got it.
So
A
the
beautiful ice
book
sculpture.
is going to take 29 points of fire and radiant damage.
Okay.
From Brielle.
Wait, how much of each?
So it's going to take. Hold on. It's going to take. Is Sacred Flame radiant?
It is radiant.
Yes.
So it's actually. It's going to mostly take radiant damage. It's going to take 11, 13 plus the 26. Oh, I was wrong. It's 26 radiant damage and 5 fire damage.
Okay. So it's gonna have
Or
the.
no, actually, hold on, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So it has the radiant damage because it has resistance to that, but the fire damage it's actually vulnerable to, so that doubles. It kind of washes, and in fact, you watch as this book lights up and ignites. It's torched and it's beginning to burn to a smolder. And the gnome looks at you from behind the flame. Actually, the flames are like licking him and burning his beard a little bit, and he's just still sitting there. Name?
Enough of this guy. So I'm going to I'm fly, I guess, down after these guys.
What's your fly speed?
30.
Okay.
Same as my walk speed.
So that didn't destroy it?
Do I see? So am I where Ira is?
Yeah, you get down. You get down to about where they all. You're down. Down at the. I will say you're all down at the base of the pyramid at this point. You've made it around the same area. You're looking out the heavy door that led you into this upside down pyramid, and across the wide open courtyard, you can see one of the knights. Like his plate armor's kind of glinting in the sun, and he's flagging you down. You know,
How far away is he?
about 100 yards. So you're gonna have to move to get there.
yards.
Yes.
Okay.
Or maybe we'll say 50 yards because that would have been
That's
a little
too much,
excessive.
yeah.
Yeah. So 50 yards.
Okay. So I'm going to cast Far Step. Bonus action. All my bonus actions, I can teleport 60 feet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
Great.
And I have wings, so I'm going to teleport into the sky. You
How high are you going?
know. Mostly like we are up steps. Yes.
Not very high.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 feet off the ground.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We're in the tower.
But you made your way to the base of the pyramid, so the first level is about 15 feet off. The block of stone that's from the ground level to 15 feet up is just a solid mass of stone. So you're 15 feet.
Maybe just like 5 feet up and then 55 feet up.
Okay, great. So you're 5 feet off the ground.
Well, no, well,
Oh,
5
sorry.
feet off my 15 feet, right? So 20 feet. You said I'm 15 feet up?
Yes. So you're 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And you gotcha. So you're 55 feet away. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
What
So that
is
is.
happening?
So I was about to say that, and then I just poof, and then I repoofed.
So he allows himself to teleport, and he lands himself roughly 60 feet outside the door, but up in the air a little bit, like 15, 20 feet up in the air.
And just for my clarification, are we outside of the tower on the ground running towards the night?
You're
or
about
are
to
we still
be.
in the tower,
You're-
like at the top of the steps?
You're at the very bottom of the tower,
Yeah.
at the top of this like gantry.
Steps.
So you're about to. Your next move,
Great.
you can haul butt
Great.
all the way that direction.
Great.
And you don't see what happens with the blob and Sir Bornoth in their turn. On the noble's turn, again you do see the knight waving at you. He's kind of by a cluster of buildings, pretty far away. And that brings us back to you don't see what happens
Wait,
with
can I
Bogwood.
use a free action to say something to him before
Yeah,
he flies
absolutely.
past us?
Yeah.
Can I just say wait? I have an idea.
Yeah. That'll happen on your turn, but he already made his move. So
He's past us.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But it is your turn now. So
Oh,
again,
my turn.
it's the knight's turn. Oh, I'm sorry. No, wait.
haven't seen the
Olga,
blob,
it
right?
is your
His
turn.
turn, so it's-
No, we're not showing
Yeah.
what's in the yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not showing what's happening in the Hall of Sovereigns.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
We're gonna go straight to Olga's turn. And you're running, and
Oh, that's what I misunderstood. Okay, we're just.
yep, you're all down
Okay,
at the very
got
bottom
it.
of the pyramid, making your way out.
Olga runs.
Okay.
Runs towards the night.
Okay. So full dash, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Just tears streaming down her face.
Okay. All right, Maccabee, your turn. You're 55 feet out, about 20 feet up in the air.
Wait, isn't it my turn if we're just the three of us?
Daniel.
I'm so sorry.
Daniel's
I'm so
turn.
sorry. Thank you.
I have an idea. Maccabee, I have an idea. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's
Great.
your turn.
Okay. And I just take off my necklace of fireballs and I handed them to him, and I'm like,
He's
to
way far
throw.
past you.
"Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I teleported 60 feet.
Great, cool. So he's just up.
He's a little bit up and way far out in front of you.
I'm like
Great, so
five
he
feet
can't
up.
hear me, that's
so like,
fine.
So like over
He
there.
can hear you, but he
I
can't
hear you.
take your
I'm like,
thing.
Wait.
I'm like 55 feet this way.
What if you go up and attack them from above?
It's the walls of the pyramid are solid stone.
Even above?
Yeah.
Because it looked like the
Yeah.
ceiling was caving
What
in.
you
it was-
no, that was just the blob hiding. Made it look like it was caved in, but it was really
Okay.
yeah.
It was just
Yeah, it was
secretly
nice,
fun.
solid, very stout, magically built building.
Oh, I'm so upset. All right, here runs after
All right.
Olga.
Okay, now it's Maccabee's turn.
All right. So I'm going to use my action to recall Chaslin, my hammer, because my hammer had exploded, and now I have unexploded it, and it's back in my hand.
Okay,
That's
that's your
my-
action, right?
That's my full
Yep.
action. I'm going to use my fly speed to get closer to the princess. How does everything look from there?
You can't see the princess. You just see the knight. And actually, at this distance,
Wait, I can't see the princess?
no, the princess is not there. All you see is the one knight, and the knight is actually yelling to you. And what you can hear him yelling is that this way, the princess and the duke we've sheltered them. Come this way. So he's
Is he pointing in a specific direction?
yeah, he's pointing back towards some buildings beyond him.
Well, because I've so let's see here. I move 60 feet, so 90 feet would be 150 yards. It would be approximately the distance to him.
90 feet would wait. What?
So last turn I moved 60 feet.
Yeah.
Now I have 30 feet fly, 60 feet.
Sure,
crawl.
that's another 90. That's your 50 yards. Yeah, you can get right to the knight.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, I want to stay above him.
Yeah, so you're 20 feet in the air,
Yeah.
hovering like weirdly above the knight.
Well, you know. Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever.
And he points to the buildings where they are. Okay, so that is Maccabee's turn. That brings us back around to Dame Olga. And assuming you're just continuing your charge out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just moving towards the night.
Okay. And Yera, same thing.
I don't think there's anything else we can do at this point.
Okay. As you all are running, two things happen very quickly. You hear a maniacal laugh from above and behind you, and you watch as an enormous ball of fire crashes down on the ground where the knight is standing, completely obliterating the knight. And I need Maccabee to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh man. Oh man.
No, this is probably nothing. This is 15.
Okay, 15. And I need, as that happens, you all watch in horror as Maccabee is hit with what looks like a meteor crashing to the ground, and immediately 2 additional meteors crash on either side of you. I need Olga and Yera to also make dexterity saving throws, please.
I guess I'm out of range because I didn't attack.
That's right. You were just dashing, so you don't have your rage up right now.
Okay.
14.
24.
Okay, 24.
Nice.
Yeah, and you took your advantage on that too, right?
No, I don't have it,
Oh, so you're not,
Not
raging.
raging.
That's right. I'm so sorry. Okay.
but I have.
That's the only one.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
That's never mind. I almost always have advantage.
But
next
she
to
also
it.
says 24, so
But I also have 24,
if that
so
doesn't make it,
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait. Never mind. No, it's.
Anything else you want to do on this save?
Yeah, I think I have a +1 because I'm wearing my cloak of protection, but that only makes it 15.
Okay.
So
Good
I
to know.
assume that still fails.
And I don't
Alright.
suppose I can give her my advantage.
You cannot. So what you all see is the first thing that happens is you do hear this laughter, and those of you that can look behind you that have a moment to look as these meteors are crashing down, you see Ageless Ta Harald hovering outside the pentabulary, flying in midair, laughing as he points to this the sky as one meteor crashes down, hitting Maccabee in the night. The knight is obliterated. There is just a scorch where he was. And the 2 additional meteors crash to the ground on either side of the 2 of you. Flame erupts everywhere. A tremendous cacophony of sound explodes as you are engulfed in flame.
No sign of the princess. You don't see the princess. You don't see the duke anywhere.
And we're going to cut away there.
Oh my gosh.
We got in over.
Guys,
I was like low-key crying a little bit.
Me too!
No, this is the
I'm so upset!
this is the opening cutscene to a video game. You see, the wonder traps are gonna come, and then it's like it's their RPG. It's fun.
So we are cutting to the middle of the Beswick River, the Scouts.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Everybody,
easy
yeah.
emotional
All right,
transition.
let's go. Yep. Happy, everybody's cheerful, nothing's wrong in the world.
Hungover Warlock. Okay.
Yeah. This is fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I told you guys before we started, but I left my wild shape hat at home, so I'm using this bag.
Okay.
Great.
So you. You look like the world's worst medieval spearsman or something.
Well, I was thinking like a plague doctor without the little,
Yeah,
you know,
He looks like
thing.
a kindergartner playing a pea pod in his school play.
Peapod is a delightful word.
Yeah.
Just in terms of how it sounds.
All right. So when we left the
These are all
Scouts,
compliments.
Yeah.
the 4 of the 5 Scouts were sort of in the same vicinity with Theod Groundkeeper in his eagle form flying above. Riley the turtle was walking through the river with Aram the half elf paladin
Oh yeah.
walking nearby and not too far. So certainly within hearing or whistling range, we have Nukta and Roderick kind of walking through the shade. Roderick is still hungover. And Riley had encountered a series of a group of turtles and a giant kind of snapping turtle that they seem to be coalescing around. Made the choice to give them some food. I'm not sure what exactly you gave them, but presumably your rations from the things that they wouldn't otherwise find in the river. This seemed to excite them, and as much as a turtle can be excited, and they hungrily ate of the food which you gave them. You gave some to the snapping turtle, wisely setting it on the ground to avoid its massive maws closing around your hands, and that only seemed to increase their affinity with you, to the point where 2 female turtles are now attempting to lead you off down the river with thoughts of mating in their head. What do you do?
Uh,
I mean, and we can take a 15-minute break.
we can take a 15 minutes. Let's see. How much is Riley trying to settle down in life right now? I don't know.
You're like, how much do I care about even being a scout?
Well, I mean, how attractive are these turtles?
So I
They're
think
pretty attractive.
Oh boy.
Did you
Been a
just
nice
roll
time.
for their attractiveness?
Yeah.
Riley is, well, first off, Riley can obviously tell that there's they are not acting as normal turtles would, and would definitely is not going to mate. He's kind of he's going to look at his new friends and be like, I really can't. This is great, but I really don't want to. I can show you guys. And he's gonna kind of squirm away and then grab oh my gosh, we have not spent as much time at this party.
No.
And so
So if you're
Aram?
squirming
I'm
away,
gonna grab Aram.
so hold on. If you're squirming away, please make a contested strength check.
Oh
There,
man.
there.
Would you give him acrobatics or athletics?
Sure. Yeah. Let me know how you want to squirm.
How you want to squirm?
I'm gonna squirm acrobatically
Okay.
to make it just.
No, you got to describe that in detail. What
Yeah.
does that
Yeah.
look
How
like?
does a turtle squirm
He's
acrobatic?
trying to do a flip.
Is it like
Yeah.
he's doing the worm?
Or is he just retreating into his shell, falling down, and
so,
then swimming away?
Well, first let's roll for it, and then we'll see. What
Yes,
happens.
exactly.
Okay, so we got a 13 plus 4, 17.
Okay.
So
So
Riley, as they're trying to pull him away, he kind of just he pulls one arm into his shell
Yep.
and pushes the other one towards the next one, and just makes it seem like they're pulling each other and that they were just really good friends. And he's just gonna run over to Aram. We should really go now. I really think it's a good time to go. This would be.
Yes.
I can't wait. I'll see you guys later. He's waving bye to the big
So
the big
as
snapping
you
turtle.
as you pull away, so you're able to extract one of your hands effortlessly. The other one kind of is a little bit of a stumble, and that turtle lady kind of falls into the water and stands up and kind of looks, just a flash of anger in her face, and then it's gone.
Snooze, snooze.
And then again,
They're
as
over you, man.
if emotions are experienced quickly, if at all, and then sort of gone. So yes, you're able to run over to Aram.
And Riley's just gonna recount everything, because Riley is not the best writer, but he wants to someone to have
To
all
write
these
his
things
story.
to write his story, and he's so excited to have Arm around. But then it's just he's telling Arm everything that's
I
happening
think
and how
as-
strange this is for him, and he's just I don't know, and I think. Do I need to? Should I come back? Should I meet?
No, I think at a later time we will talk about sort of you have agency in this situation, my good man. If you're not interested in it, they need to respect that, don't they? All right, let's I think I pull as I'm saying all this, and as you're sort of jabbering at me excitedly, I pull you onto Walter, and I think we're gonna just ride away.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're riding away on your 3D printed steed.
Yes.
At what speed are you
3D printed
riding?
I think moderate, unless we're being followed, in which case as quickly as possible.
Okay. So you kind of you pull away at a moderate pace, and you kind of look back and you see the turtles sort of a turtle, as we all know, can move at regular speed, the speed of 30 feet per second, the speed that a human
Yes.
can move. But these ones seem just a little bit sluggish in general.
Okay.
So, however, you do notice that they look towards you, and the giant snapping turtle turns its head, and kind of like one of those big thick tongues that those kind of animals have, like in Jim Henson movies, kind of comes out and goes Jabba the Hutt tongue, and starts to kind of move in your direction. But
You're
it's
saying
not.
the big one, or just one
They
of the
all do
random ones?
actually.
They're
The
all
whole
following
group.
us?
It's like you have intrigued them with your food, and then so they are following you. However, they are following at a, let's say, a very slow pace. They are kind of
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. They might win. We don't know. So, but they are indeed following. You have the sense, but they don't look like they're in any rush to catch up to you. They will catch up to you if you at a certain point if you let them. But you're moving ahead. Now you see Roderick and Nukta. You see. It's impossible not to see them sort of galloping away. What do you do?
Can I clarify something real
Yes.
quick? Do we have a servant following us? Does the
Yes.
servant walk
You
with
do.
us?
Indeed,
I
you
believe
do.
it's Arthur.
Arthur, and you describe Arthur and how long he's been with you and so forth.
Arthur has been with me since I was a lad. He is a furbolg manservant, so quite tall. Holds himself very properly, but has a scar down one eye, betokening some sort of roughness in his past. And he's carrying my things and possibly working on a drink.
Oh, little hair of the dog, huh?
Yeah, a little Bloody Mary by McClure's Pickles. Go to McClure's.com. Whether you're 20% discount, just put in difficult terrain there. We do make a great Bloody Mary mix. Okay, so Arthur's
Okay,
just
another
making
clarification.
yeah.
Who's leading his pony when he's
Oh,
flying?
no, Franklin just sort of walks in my general direction.
Gotcha. So he's
Franklin's a good
Pony's
friend.
down by the river walking along. Or is Pony with us?
He's actually mating with a turtle right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Franklin. It's so unlike you.
I'm gonna roll for that one.
And
Yeah.
donkey.
So
Tony.
he's so Franklin's on his
And
own,
mule.
unless you
Oh, yeah, no offspring then. How mules work?
no time, unless you being sort of the lead scout, unless you've given other directions.
No.
That's-
Yeah. So when we see them, come on, we got to pick up the pace, and we stay up in the trees.
Okay.
Faster, just keep up with them.
And we say up in the trees. You're not actually climbing.
Right?
You're- Yeah.
Can we tell kind of what's going on? They're being slowly followed by a group of.
Yeah, you can tell. I'll say, I think you can probably tell that they are not in trouble, but that they are definitely
pursued.
they're being pursued. But I guess I would say like if I guess you can give me an insight roll actually for Nukta.
22.
Great. So you not only see that they're being pursued by these turtles, and you can kind of creep between the trees and study the turtles and their movements and sort of they look like they are not aggressive, but they look like they're behaving like animals. They're behaving like goats at a petting zoo when they think that you're holding food, but just in a slower way.
Okay.
There's nothing aggressive. There's nothing combative about them. They are just sort of headed in their general direction.
Okay, so we stay up in the trees.
Great.
Come on, we got
Can
to.
I say that I-
Arthur, keep up.
As we're riding the steed, now that I don't think we're in too much danger, I'm animatedly explaining to Riley that in a truly egalitarian society, every individual is free to express their sexual desires, but also to simply, to have full physical autonomy. I think that is one of the essential names. Just going on.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm enthralled.
Yeah.
It's very emphatic about it.
Yeah, arm talks.
Riley is definitely taking
True
all,
physical autonomy.
Riley's taking this all in, but you kind of just see like a glazed over sadness as he's kind of like looking back at the other turtles, as he's like, I just don't know what to do.
Oh, what's wrong, my dear man?
I want to help them.
Do they not? Do they? What? In what way?
They don't seem. Did you see anything?
I don't know very many turtles. They seemed a bit off, but I didn't want to judge. You know what I mean?
Riley is like going to find a way to stabilize himself on your steed, and he's gonna be like, I need a minute, and he retreats into his shell.
So when he does this, does all of him? I just want to know how this works. Does all like his head retreat in his shell, like literally?
You kind of like see, yeah,
the
you
top
see
of
like
the-
arms, legs, they retreat, but then you see like the head. You can kind of just see his eyes peeking out of the top. Like you could just like see like a shadow of an eye as he's like closing them.
And I take out my staff of flowers and I make a flower appear out of the end and I just sort of tuck it into the little head part of the shell.
Yes, you can.
Just right
Trying
next
to
to
be
the ear.
comforting.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Comforting little
It's a
irritating
little
tickle on
scentless
your
daisy,
eye.
but it's a cheerful one. It's blue.
Okay.
Pokes him right in the eyeball.
I roll dex for that.
Okay, good. So while you're doing that, so yeah, you guys move along, and within 10 minutes or so, you've sort of passed the point where you can't see them anymore. The river's kind of, and you're still just kind of traveling along the river. You guys are a small ways behind. Again, seeing not much in the woods. You are now sort of on your second day. A light rain starts to fall. But it's again no signs of any sort of civilization here, Arm would know from your sort of research into the history of the place and so forth that the Beswick was the primary trade route from the city of Tourmaline out to the ocean. So to see nothing here is a little strange. There weren't any major cities because it's a river that tends to flood, but still you should see signs of something. Theod, give me a perception roll. You're flying ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay, that is a 23.
An advantage as well. You took that.
That is a 23.
Okay, great.
Wow.
We'll take the higher one.
Yeah. So you're flying ahead, and you guys are making pretty good time. You are, being led by a professional scout. You have, steeds and mules and so forth, and you're an eagle. So you are able. The plan is you will arrive at the city of Tourmaline essentially by or shortly after nightfall of the second day here. You are flying ahead, so you're almost there. So you kind of crest a little bit of some hills, and you see far in the distance. So still 10 miles or so or more. You see what looks to be the city of Tourmaline, and from your distant vantage point, I mean, there's fog, and you can see it's a kind of overlooking a wide plain, and there's mountains to the far north and east.
So keep in mind, Eagle's vision is 8 times better than human. So like, if it's 10 miles away, think about like what it would look like if it was only like a mile and.
In
Sure.
D&D,
Yeah.
eagles are advantage better than humans.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The tiniest movements of a rabbit. Rabbits are small.
If you ever really want to go down a
That's
rabbit
true.
hole, try and do the math on like what actual like visual acuity would equate to in D&D terms, because like there are like things like you can see a burning candle in the dark from 3 miles away. You can see like a human figure. You can make it's
Yeah.
yeah. You
I
need a-
mean,
Or don't
that's
and go
correct.
on with your life.
Yeah.
Either is
just
fine.
live.
If I ever get the chance to turn into a coyote, you're gonna win some fun coyote facts. They can smell so well. Anyways, so the city's
So let's say
cool and all.
it's a little farther away. That's a good point. Let's say it's a little farther away.
1,000 miles.
It's 1,000 miles away. No, as you crest over, and because of your eagle eyes, you see something probably about. It is not movement. In fact, it is. But it is unusual. So let's say about 4 or 5 miles south of the river, you see.
Theod, what do your eagle eyes see?
You see a man splayed out on a rocky bluff by the river.
Yeah. Wait on. Do I also see like cool nature things? Does it look nice outside of the city? I mean, because cities are cool and all, but like, is there like trees or plains or like lakes or anything that is really cool on my way?
Yeah, there's all kinds of this area is the plains kind of extend on both sides of the bank. On the side that you're on, which is the eastern side, it gets hilly very quick and gets wooded very quick and heads up into the central mountains. There's a lot of interesting things. In fact, at one point you see I'm going to say maybe about like 30 or 40 miles to your east, you see what appears to be a circling group at first glance of large eagles, but on second eagle glance, you do an eagle double take, you see that they are actually griffins.
Oh.
Yeah, flying around.
Oh, big boys. Griffins are really cool because, well, one, you know, if you trust them, they'll let you ride them, which is pretty cool because it's basically having a sky horse. But two, they have a really interesting culture when it comes down
He's
to
just
it.
saying this
But
to
there's no one around you, and you can't speak.
I know, but I have an eternal life, Adam.
Yep. No.
So I guess once I see
And how?
once I see the body, I guess I don't really have any chance. I'm naturally curious.
I will say, the other thing that you see, sort of, which is a little bit strange, over on the west side of the bank, you are pretty sure you can see to a, you actually can see the road that leads. There's a famous trade road that leads, which I'm presuming you would know about. Just the road that kind of leads all throughout the Crown colonies, from the west to the east. You actually can see it, and in some places it appears to be in pristine shape, and in other places not so much. And you see that there is a kind of tower, and it's more just like a watchtower, not like a large tower, like let's say like 2 or 3 stories tall, just kind of like a keep, halfway in the thing that seems to halfway in the road between a couple of cities that seems to be in pretty good shape. And close to that, you see what appears to be a giant raven.
Like giant by Raven standards, or giant?
Giant. Large, and it's far enough away that you can't quite tell, but with that 23, I'm going to say you think you see a figure riding it.
Whoa. I mean, that's kind of like what I was saying with the griffins, but to do with a raven, it would have to be a really big raven. So, here's a question. The guy that I see, he looks like, he's not like napping by the river, he looks like he's probably not in good condition. Can I like swoop down and get a closer look at him?
You get a closer look at him. You can actually see that this man is very clearly not alive.
Oh.
This is a decomposing body, and it is actually on a rock, but it is it's like a little, like one of those large like rocks by the side of the river, and he's kind of in an X, and there's manacles around his arms, and he's actually been chained there, like basically chained to trees that are in back of the rock. So he was clearly like put there and left there, and he's dead.
Okay, well, thankfully that seems like something humans would do and not something that monsters would do. That's cool. How far ahead of the party am I?
At this point, you are about, I'm gonna say you are about 7 miles ahead of the party.
7 miles ahead of the party, and where's this? How far ahead is this Raven rider?
The Raven is like 30 miles at this point. He's not ahead of you. He's like off. He's not in the general vicinity of you, or you just noticed it on your flight up.
All right, cool. Well, if I'm 7 miles ahead, figure 2 hours to catch up, or I don't know, like it'll take them like an hour and a half, 2 hours to reach me about.
Yeah, and if they're going on the river, they will reach this point at some point because it's right on the river.
All right, great. Well, I think that this is an interesting spot. I'm gonna sit down. I'm just gonna sit down by the corpse, get a real intimate look, and what I want to do is I'm going to land and. Hey, look at that! I'm not vegan. No, I'm not vegan. Yeah.
He says that like a crazy person. He says, "I'm not vegan." What does that mean? Where did that come from? This island? I don't know.
That's weird. Huh.
Okay.
Do I even own a hammer? That's weird. Anyways, I'm going to find a nearby. What's faster? I think probably rabbit. If there's a hare or like some sort of hare nearby, some sort of small woodland beastie that I can use animal messenger on, or like a bird or pigeon could be.
Sure. Let's say there's an 80% chance that there's a small beastie nearby. So indeed there is.
Okay, great. I'm going to use animal messenger as a ritual.
Okay.
To tell them. Oh, I dropped my wedding ring. Oh yeah, it's over there in the center. To just update the party on the things. So the animal messenger speaks with my voice. Lucky animal, and and I'm just gonna say just the various things about like Tourmaline being ahead, giant raven river, watch out for griffins, and have a nice day.
Okay.
What animal did he find?
He found a squirrel.
A squirrel. Great.
Yeah.
Squirrels are good. They're fast and they're fine. And I told everyone not to shoot any woodland creatures that come up to them.
Okay.
Great.
Great. So our did you say you're investigating the body?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So how are you doing that?
Well, so he's wearing clothes.
Okay, so what you can actually see is that he there's just a quick cursory glance reveals that he's badly decomposed. You'd have to kind of like investigate him deeper to kind of see, if you can figure out specifically how he died. Although he does look very emaciated. It looks like he's probably been nibbled at by some woodland creatures and so forth. And he is wearing sort of scraps of clothing. That I guess give me a history check with advantage.
Oh, nat 20 and a nat 1.
He is wearing the garments of a crewman of the Master's Blessing.
Whoa. Okay, man. I want to know that, but the crewman of the Master's Blessing really like getting manacled to things. Anyways, so that's cool. Is it weird if I cast Purify Food and Drink on him just because I don't want to catch any like death diseases from being near him?
Are you eating him? Or?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, fair. No, go for it.
All right,
you can
cool,
cast Purify Food and Drink.
Yeah, just if I'm gonna touch it.
I mean, technically, almost anything is food, depending on what animal.
It's true.
You are.
Yes,
It's
it's
true.
me. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's mostly what I'm gonna do, and then I'm just gonna rest up and sketch.
Okay. So you sketch the
surroundings.
surroundings.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I'm a
of
map
course.
maker, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So you sketch the surroundings and get down the gentle flow of the river, and meanwhile, a short amount of time relatively later, Nukta, you were walking through the woods when a suspiciously wide-eyed and friendly-looking squirrel scampers up to you and stares at you.
It's wearing like a black zipper bag on its head.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have my elfin hand.
And what does the squirrel say?
You have a message, dude.
Hello, this is Theod. Tourmaline is ahead, and it looks weird. And also, there's a guy riding a raven, and also there's griffins, so you may want to keep undercover.
Wait.
And also, you have to just find me, but I'm along the road, so as long as you keep the road, you should be fine. But stay alert, and I'll see you soon.
And that was 25 words. Exactly.
Have a great day.
And Roderick, give me a wisdom save.
Just a straight wisdom save?
Yep, straight wisdom save.
We need to ask him to choose animals that speak more slowly.
That is a 22.
Okay, you feel for a second like this squirrel. You can't with the squirrel. It's a little much, but then you're okay.
Oh yeah, still hungover.
Just yeah.
Talking squirrel.
It's been a day.
Arthur comes up to you with like a little towel over his arm and then proffers the
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Or maybe not even a Bloody Mary, just whatever his hangover cure is.
It's got there's like an egg in the bottom.
Yeah.
Like Worcestershire
Oh,
sauce.
just Franklin has a bag of just like various nuts and seeds.
Uh-huh.
Just for animal companion. That's the tip, basically, so the squirrel knows that it could take like 2.
The squirrel knows this. Okay, so the squirrel takes only 2.
I mean, that's what it's allowed. It's a squirrel. You
Yeah,
decide. It's an NPC. It's
No, wait. Do you also get to rate the squirrel like 3 stars, 4 stars?
yeah. Well, I mean, Franklin and I will talk about it.
So presumably, you unless are you following the squirrel's directions? Or are you?
Yeah, I will stick to the road. Yeah. It was a bit hard. There was something about griffins and something about a raven and a thing on it. And stay to the road.
Stay to the road. Griffin something, raven something.
I spoke so quickly.
Yeah.
Arthur, did you catch any of
I
that?
think he said there was a guy riding the raven.
Yeah.
That doesn't make. It would
Must
have
be
to
a
an
big
extremely
raven,
large
or a small, or a squirrel, or something. All right, so we
Yeah,
keep moving.
It would have to be.
Let's
large.
pick up the pace a little. Let's go.
Right, so you pick up the pace, and this gentle rain and the wind picks up a little bit, and but it's pretty easy going. You guys are Arm and Riley kind of on saddle and making
By
your
now,
way up.
I'm expounding about. I've gone from sexual politics specifically, just sort of what we owe to each other, as human beings within this organization. I'm not sure he's listening, and I'm also sketching the various flora and fauna, but we're still, I think, sort of riding at a clip.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So I'm going to say that you guys get to this place where Theod is first, and you guys will probably get there shortly after.
Okay.
'Cause you're, but we can say, yeah, for purposes of collapsing the story here, that yes. So you all get to this rocky bluff, and you see this corpse of a man, kind of, yeah, like I said, manacled. Very definitely not there by accident. What would anyone like to do?
He's from the crown.
Yeah, Master's Blessing. They're wearing the same uniform.
Can I would like to see if there's any other information that can be found around his body in
Sure.
the area.
Yeah. If you're looking at his body specifically, you can give me a medicine check. If you're looking at just the area, you can give me an investigation check.
I would love to do a medicine check.
Okay, well, let's.
I'm gonna do investigation.
Okay.
That is a 20.
Great. Yeah, there's unfortunately not too much other information here. I mean, like very definitely like these are the kind of manacles that you would have on the boat. They're you weren't there for the other scene, but they are typical. Like there's nothing special about these. There's nothing magical
but it
about
looked
these.
crown made.
Yes, they look like they could. They're not like there's no insignia on them or anything.
Yeah.
But
This
they are.
says Chronicles on the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, but like based on what I know about Akram, would they have made something like this?
I will say on your investigation check, these appear to be pretty new. These appear to be like of make in the last couple of years. So top of the line sort of current crown equipment. They're on very tight. His legs are also legs have been sort of like it's as if they had one big pair of manacles and they kind of stretched it around his arms, and his arms are sort of stretched around these two trees. And you can see the places in the bark where the chains, as if he was trying to do this to get himself off, but couldn't do it. His
There's
legs are
nothing-
also lashed down.
And there's nothing else like suspicious in the area.
No, investigation check reveals lots of footprints in sort of in the surrounding like mud areas. However, you've also noticed this in certain areas as you've in the last like mile, I will say, of your journeys, you've realized that like at a certain point, people were getting out of their canoes and sort of walking along the river more.
Human footprints?
Human, elf, humanoid footprints.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
Boots.
like the kind of boots and size boots that you would expect from like a group of crown citizens.
Sure. I mean, again, no insignia, no, on the bottom, but yes.
But nothing unusual.
Nothing unusual. No like crazy weird toad footprints or anything like that.
So this person was probably being punished, is what it was.
Yeah. Can I do a medicine check
You
on
may.
them? Okay, great. That is a 17.
17. Yeah, I mean, he probably died within the last month or so. But again, like maybe less time. It's hard to tell because of the nature of the elements and sort of the animals that have been picking at him. But yeah, that's it. If you had to make a guess, it's again pretty hard to say because he's been out here in the elements. But if you had to make a guess, you don't see any like
stab wounds.
You don't see any wounds on him. It
So
looks
he
like he
died of
probably
starvation.
starved.
Cool.
Yeah.
How far away was the tower that I saw?
Oh, so that tower,
Is it
the
right-
roadside tower from where you are is probably going to be about like 40 miles or so.
Oh, way.
Yeah, I was just narrating what you saw like in the
Sure,
distance as you flew up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we know the Master's Blessing made it this far.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
That's
more
good.
importantly, what are your opinions on capital punishment?
Depends on the crime. It's not my place to say, really.
What sorts of crimes do you think are worthy of capital punishment?
That's whatever this person did, most certainly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Interesting.
As you can tell, because he's dead.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a syllogism. Anyway.
All
You,
right.
Roderick. Yeah,
So as you debate the merits of capital punishment, we are going to cut. Oh, sorry. Did you have something you wanted to do? Okay.
Aw, how's Riley feeling?
Not good.
Aw.
Are you still on your shell?
Riley's like heads out. He was like listening to conversation and like watching everyone else do things, but he's like still on your steed, just kind of
I
curled
think
up.
Aram
But he's
creates
coming.
one more flower and lays it on his dead
Can I
person.
use my herbalism kit to make him like an herbal Valium?
I just will say that everyone can use the various magical powers to make Riley feel better.
Oh no, I make a flower and I put it on the dead person.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes, that's nice, yeah.
Go ahead and roll with your proficiency bonus to use your herbalism kit.
Okay.
We'll see how good the your,
Valium is.
So I am proficient in it.
yeah.
So that's a nat 20.
Great.
All right. So actually, I mean,
Good
Riley
timing
is
for it.
high.
Definitely Olga didn't need that.
yeah,
This is the moment.
Olga rolled okay though.
she did fine.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
did what she
you-
To pull Bogwood out.
Okay.
Aw.
Okay.
Too soon.
Wait,
Wow.
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 Oh god.
That's the married couple right there, by the way.
Yeah.
It's gonna go well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you make a nice, and actually you're able to even like bleach it a little bit and like crush it into like pill form. Do you give him a whole or a half?
I'm about to give him a hole, and then I look him up and down and break it.
Yeah, I mean for that roll, I think a whole one probably Riley
Yep.
would be like in the shell for the duration.
Yeah, and I'm going
Yeah.
to say that, Riley, that makes me feel so good that for the rest of the day, I'm going to give you advantage on any int, whiz, or charisma checks.
Wow.
With a nat 20. Why not?
Machi, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow,
so...
what a potion.
Nice
Yeah.
to see the essential
So
oils.
now we are cutting over to a very different place, Fort Brigand's End. Again, the location where the scouts started, the new town being founded on the banks of the Beswick, about 30 miles south of where you are. And we are going to meet a new group of characters. But
So-
first, oh, sorry.
Nope.
Go for it.
The Fort Brigand's End, far from the wilderness that the Crown's colony fleet encountered upon its first landing, has now sprung up a small town. A dirt palisade surrounds half of the camp, separating it from the woods beyond, leaving the ocean side mostly unprotected, but a palisade is being constructed there.
And you've all worked sort of overnight to kind of get all this stuff done. Everyone's all hands on deck to kind of construct this tent city, as it were.
And and there are unruly rows of tents that have sprung up very quickly as parties have departed on their various missions. The people that are here to make this town habitable and have the services it needs to be a functional colony have really very quickly sprung into action. And while most of these are tents of varying sizes, there are a few more permanent structures. Most notable among them, there is a crude wooden blacksmith's shop where a hammer clangs out, and a small blue-haired gnome actually is hard at work with a newly fashioned bellows, forging and preparing things for the colony. There is in the center of this ramshackle tent city, there is the very beginnings of wood scaffolds as a central town hall is being constructed with fresh raw timber from the nearby wood and carpenters on suspended pulley mounted planks begin to hammer away at that. And generally, people are milling about. They're doing their work. There is a cook line of boiling kettles and pots and roasting meats on skewers. There are various workers of differing types hard at work trying to do their part to ensure that this colony survives. There's some contingent from the military, still their presence is there, but you do see that the military has definitely been, they've been busy. They have been preparing to go on the march. And once again, as he did before, Magistrate Latham, they call everyone to the town center for a proclamation for an announcement. And this is what the magistrate said.
And you notice the magistrate looks very, very tired, but also very pleased with themselves. People of Fort Brigand's End, long may it stand. We are so thrilled with the progress we've made thus far. Our Church of the Many Gods is being erected, yes, we may all worship as suits our various beliefs. Our inn, the First Pint, is functional. I did notice that the inn was put up far quicker than the church, but so be it. But complete with fine ales already being brewed by our master brewers. Fantastic. Our smithies are firing, and now that we are constructing our earthen wall around what will become our humble community and our fort, we must guard it. We find that with our military heading towards the city of peace, that we are in need of perhaps a more homegrown, let us say, town watch. Once again, we have the need to conscript some very fortunate citizens for additional service to the crown. As we've said, His Majesty's Armed Forces will soon be marching, and to secure the city and meet up with our wondrous leader here, Princess Athliel. Long may she live and long may she reign. So only a small force can remain here. Therefore, I am appointing this camp watch from among you to supplement the military. Now, the way this shall work is we'll appoint a town watch leader, and then we shall draw lots to see who shall serve. Now, each watch group will be appointed, and they shall serve a term of 1 fortnight in shifts as dictated by myself, and when necessary by my deputy, Kurdrick. And
Oi!
you see Kurdrick, this big hulking dragonborn deputy guy. Yes, now, there is a small point of order here. Just because you are chosen for the town watch does not mean that you will be able to eschew your daily duties, so it will be a rather tiring schedule. You will work in the morning and throughout the day. I'm taking a small break, perhaps a 5 to 15 minute break before reporting for your town watch duty, which shall last the night, at which point you will go to sleep and shortly thereafter wake up to report for your work duty. I hope there's no situations or difficulties with this. However, this is a town full of lots of people, and we don't anticipate any issues, so I'm certain this shall not be entirely too taxing. Anyway, if there are no further questions, I am going to begin with the drawing of the lots of our first town watch, yes? So, to lead this first watch, we have chosen Corporal Gregory Carrot. And at this point, she points over to Gregory Carrot. And what does everyone see of Gregory?
So Gregory is, he's a retired guard of a nice jeweler, so he has some decent studded armor. He's come out here for the simple life, of course. Nothing too fancy. Do we still have all our possessions? We've unloaded. We have our tent set up. Great. Then, he has a rapier at his side, just hand on his hip. He's surveying the crowd, looking over the people as the names are drawn. Wants to get a good first impression. Yeah. Do I get to say a word?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Right. It's just like, hey, listen. They're drawing these by lots. I understand that this is a duty that not everyone is gonna want, but I promise that we're gonna make it as bearable as possible. Okay.
The magistrate, they bow and they say thank you. Yes, Corporal Karat has already distinguished himself on the journey over by some deeply heroic actions on board, and so for this,
too sweet.
For this, we thank him. Now, to the lots, and here the magistrate kind of looks and reaches, as if they have in a big cauldron, they have all the names, basically, from their manifest, and reaches in and pulls out the first name. And, all right, we have Jovert of the blacksmiths.
Hi. I am Jovert. It's nice to meet you. I'm so excited to work under the Corporal Gregory. Is your name? Yes. I am so excited.
Call me Greg.
Corporal Gregory. Thank you, Magistrate. I'm so excited to do this. It's gonna be a wonderful time. If there's anything you guys need for special things for the town watch, I'm more excited to help the crowd.
And what does Jovert look like?
When you see Jovert, you see that gnome with blue hair, a big blue beard, as well as somewhat spiky, blue hairs on top. He's quite clean for being a blacksmith. The only soot he has on him is just a little bit on his gloves from when he was just most recently working on. But otherwise, seems immaculately clean and very proper. And how he stands, he's very upright as he's addresses everyone, and he presents himself to the people and says I'm so excited to be protecting all of you and helping with the crowd.
Well said. Excellently said, the magistrate says.
Sorry,
Yep.
I actually forgot to describe myself physically.
Oh, yes, of course, yes.
So Gregory's a human. He's just about 6 feet tall. He has a pretty big nose with a scar down the side and a huge, just goofy, big mustache. If you look at this guy, you probably just walk away just staring at his scar and his mustache. It's great. Tall guy, scar, mustache.
Okay. Good stuff. The magistrate reaches in their cauldron again. Yes. All right. Next, we have one of the carpenters, Ken. Ken of the Malkrid people. Ken, yes.
And Ken just sort of looks around. He's a huge, he's 6'5" and sort of a humanoid dog person. with a light brown fur and sort of floppy ears and big sort of sad eyes, and he looks a little like he doesn't really know what to do because everyone's looking at him, but he doesn't want to be rude, so he just sort of nods and he says, thank you.
Yes, and you will all have, for those of you born in the Crown lands, you will be aware with the Malkrid people. They are a humble, fairly docile dog folk, people that are all about the same size as Ken. So
I think in his internal monologue, what he wants to say is to apologize that the inn was done before the church, but he was assigned to the inn and he works very quickly, so that's what he did, and now he's working on the church, so it will be done very soon, but he doesn't know how to say all of that in front of all these people, so instead he just nodded.
Okay.
And looked a little ashamed.
My heart.
He is good boy.
He's just
All right, and the magistrate draws another name. Aha, okay. Yes, and so next we have one of the cooks and kitcheners by the name of Zahala. Do I have that right? Zahala?
Yeah.
All right, so everyone gives you a round of applause.
Zahala is a blue tiefling.
Mm-hmm.
She is dressed in cook gear with kind of a colorful bandana on her head is the one kind of decoration. And is a bit sullen looking. What kind of compensation will we receive?
You'll get the compensation the magistrate promised and not a penny more. And you'd be gracious. You'd be glad to do the service for the crown. So I'd say.
Kotrick, yeah, thank you. Yes, as far as compensation goes, as you are aware, and I'm sure as everyone is aware because this was explained to you in your initial interviews as you were heading off to this journey, there will be certain deeds that you will need to participate in that are not immediately recompensed. Such is the nature of beginning a new civilization and a new colony. So while there will be no immediate coin, your service will not go unnoticed, and you will have our thanks. And also...
Didn't ask when, asked what.
Well, I can see you're going to be a problem. We'll be talking after this.
Right. Yes. Fine. So, given the difficult nature of the hours of this job, the Crown can, and the magistrate kind of pulls out like a pocket abacus and does some math. The Crown will also recompense you with a small amount of 5 silver pieces per day. Next, and then moves on. And draws
And she lets it go.
Okay. And now the magistrate seems a little bit chuffed. Yes, and for the final slot... Oh, dear lord. Right. Yes, so the final slot is to be made up of one of our gravesmen, Regis Erlichschuster.
What?
What? No. No, sir. No, there's a mistake there. I must object. I cannot accept this position. I'm sorry.
Do not call me sir. Call me the magistrate.
Magistrate. I've already been conscripted into this entire journey. I've been conscripted into my position as dealer with the dead here, as gravekeeper. One lord, one minor lord is all I am embarrassed to be taken away from my home as I have. I can't take this additional. You're going to need entertainment for the people here. My additional time away from dealing with the dead and making sure that they are cared for and buried correctly needs to be spent on my work as Regis Erlichschuster, the Imaginician. The Imaginician.
May I remind
Not
you...
the Camp Watch. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
Not
some of the
Camp Watch.
Some of the crowd seems unclear, and the magistrate... Yep.
Sorry, magistrate, if I would. Wait, hold on. Are you the Imaginician? Wait, you've done shows.
Have you seen?
In the Crown?
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yes.
you're fantastic. Gentlemen, to have a man like this in the watch seems, I mean, I would almost say far a waste of his skills. I mean, he would hate. He loves working with the dead. He would hate interacting with the people, having, quiet walks for hours at a time, being paid at first in line at meals. He would hate that. Look at him. He is an artist. He deserves a chance to perform. And he certainly wouldn't want any of the perks of the position. He is a man who loves the hard labor of the graves. I say that instead of working in the watch, double his shift at the graves. He is a man that, loves what he does. Am I right?
I have on stage dazzled many dozens, taking the head of a deceased corpse and through a mixture of metals applied to the neck area, made its face twitch,
You're right.
made its eyes
that.
blink. I've made
No,
the
no,
legs of
no.
worms,
All right, that's enough.
legs of frogs twitch.
No. We know what you've done. We've heard all about it. I don't know, Magistrate.
May I remind you that we have Chorlock the harpist? And you see Chorlock. The fattest harpist you've ever seen. He just dwarfs the harp. Brought over
man of
for
great
this.
talent, most certainly.
Yes, and they are our appointed bard. We have no need of other entertainment. You have your ale people. You have your harpist. We don't need imaginicians. So this is the final ruling of the crown. I am tempted by Corporal Karat's suggestion to punish you further by putting you on double shift, but the names don't lie. There is a way that we need to do this, and we have chosen our name, and so be it. And that is the final ruling of the magistrate. And the magistrate bangs their gavel in midair because there's nothing to bang it on, and then they walk away.
Ken has not yet built the.
I was gonna say, clocks that and immediately was like, all right.
I like it so made the sound though.
Yeah, exactly.
He, by the way, has kind of long,
Yeah.
lankish hair, very pale skin. Wears a top hat, a quite worn top hat, and leather gloves without fingers, and a jacket with. It was probably quite nice once upon a time. Lots of buttons on the front.
All right, at that, the crowd disperses, and Kurdrick, the magistrate's second in command, calls the five of you over, and he's glaring hard at the two of you. Most especially, originally it was going to be Zahala, that he was, was going to draw his ire, but that little performance says, I don't know what you're going on about. You've got a job to do, and you're going to do it. Now here's the way it works. You get these, and he hands you all these nicely carved wooden badges that have been enameled with a gold paint. They're well lacquered. They have little pins on the back, so you can actually, while you're on duty, you can put these on. And don't go abusing your authority. There's no no free parking, nothing like that. You keep your wagons designated parking zones, but you go around after dark, make sure it's safe, and in the morning you come back, no problems. Report to the magistrate straight away. Do you understand?
Yes.
Everyone got that?
Are we protecting from internal threats or external threats?
There's not going to be any external threats. We've got the army for those. Your job is to keep the peace. Make sure there's no bar fights, no petty thievery, no vandalism. You understand?
Yeah, of course. What would they? Well, is there anything we should pay attention to? I mean, obviously, we want to know what we need to protect, right? Any valuables, any VIPs that, of course, we don't want to ruffle their feathers.
Let's see. Are you trying to get him to give up intel that he might not want to?
No, I think it's perfectly reasonable. I'm an officer of the law. I need to know where to prioritize our patrols.
All right. Give me this is going to be a straight charisma check, no skill modifier. Just give me with your proficiency.
It's a 10. Wait, with my preferences?
Oh yeah. Well, not with no persuasion, deception, or
basic
intimidation.
charisma, right?
Just charisma modifier. Yep.
And no
And his
proficiency.
proficiency.
No, just your
All right,
charisma modifier.
then it's just 10. Roll
All right.
5.
He says, I'll tell you what, you pay special attention to the magistrate's tent. No one goes in or out, nothing gets missing. You understand?
Absolutely, sir.
All right.
Would you like us to wear these at all times or only at night?
Only when you're on duty.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
And of course, many of us have important tasks. I mean, Hover here is a blacksmith. And
Javert?
Javert. Sorry, my apologies, sir. Jover is an exceptional. I'm still getting to know everyone, but I can tell right away that you're a man of quality, and his blacksmith is fantastic. We have a world-renowned carpenter, an amazing stage performer here, and a fantastic chef. I have not tried your cooking yet, but I'm so excited. Tiefling cooking is just amazing. And I was thinking that since we do have to work all night, obviously double duty is a little trying. Would it be possible just to have a couple of assistants? So obviously there are some people that are just still setting up, just to chip in a little bit, take some of the hours so our boys can get some rest.
Sure.
And girls.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check, but this is a disadvantage because of Regis and Zahala. They're helping.
Well, then I guess I'm going to have to take that nat 1 then, which is still an 8.
All right. We'll say that your modifier saves you from like Kurdrick like drawing down on you.
Yes.
Just like attacking you.
He just looks at you and says, "No."
Fair enough. You know what I like about you, Kurdrick? You're direct.
Now, I'm going to give you one last piece of free advice. Watch out for this one. I saw his show, the one with Lord Brewermaker. Yeah, I was there when you were arrested. Yeah, troublemaker. Doesn't belong. Shouldn't have been brought out here if you ask me, let alone given a position of responsibility. So you watch him close. He is your charge, and anything he does wrong falls on your head.
Sir, I trust this man implicitly.
Make a stealth check. So Regis.
Yeah, that's going to be a 20.
Yeah, his passive perception is 11, so you don't pick up on that. You're feeling pretty good about our man Gregory here. He seems to have your best interests at heart.
As he should.
And with that, we will go ahead and cut away from the newly commissioned Camp Watch.
Yeah.
And go back to the Scouts.
We are going to cut to the scouts.
Oh,
So,
the Scouts.
yeah, cut back to the scouts. Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, Riley is fully out of his shell now. And he
Great.
actually seems completely back to
Literally.
life.
Literally, and
He's coming out of his shell, and he's doing just fine.
Yeah.
All right. So.
do that every time.
Yes, exactly.
Every time.
It's
All right.
like every time you turn into an eagle, I want you to go, I'm like a bird, I'm gonna fly away.
So-
Fly like an eagle.
Okay. No.
Soren, would you like to add a bird song?
The robin goes.
Yeah. I would also accept Rock and Robin. I would have accepted as well.
Yeah.
Anything by Big Bird would be okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we cut back to the scouts, and we'll pick up where we left off. So on the side of the banks there. Although you don't know how long you want to stay in the vicinity of this corpse. You still have quite a few miles to go before Tourmaline, and I'm going to say, Nukta, by the position of the sun, you don't even need a nature check to sort of realize that. You keep going. You will pretty much reach the gates of Tourmaline by just after sundown. So it's your decision whether you want to when and where you want to camp, and at what point you want to stop, or if you want to kind of head to outside Tourmaline and then rest there.
So what do we think? Do we want to arrive at night?
I think, I have enough energy. I would prefer to arrive and just see what we're up against. We got camp outside the city.
I'd rather arrive at night, and I don't want to hang out with this corpse. It doesn't seem like a good time.
No, we don't want to hang out here.
I mean, I don't know. So, like, from the sky, this land is, it's weird. And I don't know. It's
In
like,
what way?
it's a little spooky. I don't know. It just got like this kind of spooky, like giant animals. Have you noticed that there's giant animals sometimes? And also, like, some things just like feel very pristine, and some things feel very old, and they're right next to each other. And there's something I can't quite put my finger on.
Probably
Anyways,
could get a price for those animals.
but anyways, I would just
We're
relish
not
the opportunity to
hunting
camp in the
those
wilderness if that's at all possible.
Not the turtles, the giant ones.
I
Or
prefer
maybe
that
just
as well.
one turtle,
Yes.
the giant.
Can
Yes,
we see the? We can't see the griffins right now.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the
but-
Raven Man.
No, but they're out there.
What do you say, Nukta?
Well, I think let's approach as evening falls. Camp outside of the city.
That's excellent. And do you know why that feels like the right decision? I just want to sort of point out in this moment, it's because everyone here has agreed it is the right thing to do. Yes, and that is what happens when you rule by majority. even when you have sort of a figurehead
Yes,
in
okay,
charge,
well, let's keep moving.
if you listen to the will of the people,
Yes, rule of the common man. What
abolish the electoral
excellent
college,
stuff.
if you will. Yes.
Oh yeah. Sort of veering off into.
Yeah. Was there kind of like a bluff before the city? Is that part of your description of it?
Well, he's not really. I mean, so he's sort of like there's areas. He's on an area where there's bluffs on the side of the river now. So he's like not down near the water. He's sort of like up top of the rock. So
Wait,
the
who's
river,
the he here?
the corpse.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So so in the area where we are now, yeah, it's like you're sort of on a maybe let's say like 15-foot bluff or something like that. So the water's down below. As you get closer to the city, the bluff walls get a little higher. So the city's was built on slightly higher ground. This is a river that tends, to flood at least down by its base, which is why there's no cities built down there. But so yes, so what you saw of the city from with your eagle eyes is the city from where it stands on, let's say, like a 20-foot bluff over top of the farthest south point of the city. There is a sort of a dam or a gate. I'm going to say with your rolls, you were able to see that the waters of the river are flowing over the dam, so it's making sort of like a large sort of waterfall down below, south of the city.
All right, great. So I'm going to communicate that, and also with the supposition that, like, we want to just be careful of just flooding, so we do want to be a little bit higher up or a little bit far removed from the river because we don't want to like wet the bed. The flood of the river.
All right, so you guys move towards the... I will say, so how far away from the city are you wanting to stop?
I think let's go in close enough where we can see
Okay.
the city walls.
Yeah.
We'll be assuming there's forest outside the city.
Yeah. So as you
close.
as you kind of approach the city, it's strange because you see that, I mean, this was at one point a city of, I don't know, 15, 20,000 people perhaps, which in colony terms is fairly large. And you are starting to see signs of civilization creeping up. And in fact, as you are, let's say a couple, maybe 200 yards or so forth from where that dam is, it's almost as if the forest floor gives way to streets and old roads, and here and there are like little pieces of rubble of houses and so forth. So now you're starting to see that yes, there was a civilization. It looks still fairly old, and then at a certain point, almost as if you step over a threshold, you see that the streets get fairly. There's one kind of row of houses that is sort of outside the walls of the town that is standing pretty much almost as if very little time has passed at all. No one in them. They're empty. But they look like they're almost as if there has been no sort of weathering of time or erosion of the elements in this area.
Can I put them as a Deho flag?
Yes. Yes, you can. You can, and you do. And so you plant a flag of your house in the middle of this empty kind of suburban street.
And if there's a Beswick flag, I would like to take it down.
You don't actually. I'm gonna say that if you want to take time, kind of peering. Let's say there's like a half dozen, to 10 kind of buildings here. You can kind of investigate and take a look. You don't have to make a roll for it, but if you want to take time to look around and see, I'll say that you you see like not a flag like a royal lived here, but you can see like little Beswick, like insignia, like coasters, things like that you might have, commemorative plates, let's say, right? But there's nothing of much
Our
value.
merchandise is way better.
Yeah, exactly. You have better merch. There's nothing of much value here in any of these places. These look like this is where like sort of working class people lived. But some of the furniture and stuff is still intact. It's all and even strangely, as you walk down this street, you notice that like some of the houses are still intact, and then there'll be one that's just sort of like a pile of rubble randomly. So it's a little bit uneven.
Can I see if there's a difference between the properties that have survived well and the ones that haven't? Something that would explain why some
Sure.
are messed up and some aren't?
Sure. Yeah.
What
Well, are you trying to determine this if there's anything magically different about them? Or are you trying to see like through nature, like look at weather, or are you looking at like sort of the structure in which they're built?
I guess I'm just trying to look to. I mean, I could do magic depending on what I see,
Yeah.
but I want to just look for.
Let's give you a general perception check then to see
Okay.
what you notice.
Yeah. So that's 17.
Okay. No. These look like they're. It looks like if you know, like in a Brooklyn townhouse row. Like 3 houses are perfectly fine, and one is just like obliterated for some reason. But the construction looks the same. There's nothing unusual about any of them.
And there's no like scorch marks or anything
No,
like that.
nothing like that. Yeah.
Like they don't look like they were exploded. Like they look
They
like
don't.
they just fell
No
apart.
no scorch marks. Or
They look
anything.
like it's just over time. This went
Yeah.
away.
This one fell apart. This one didn't. Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's now getting dark-ish. It's getting dim, and I will say that you can kind of all see. I'm imagining that. I don't want to presume. I'm imagining that being the scouts, one of you at least has a spyglass or anything like that. Do you have something like that? I'm not sure.
I mean, I could turn into an eagle.
Right.
They have really
spyglass.
good vision,
I knew
actually.
that.
Yeah.
You can do that?
If
Yeah.
not, no worries.
Primary
But
vulture
you,
or
from
hawk.
where you are, you hear the rush of water, as Theod had described, potentially to you. If you were to kind of like walk to the end of this like row, of this suburban row of houses, you see that yes, the walls of Tourmaline are not far. They look from your vantage point, again, without getting closer, using a spyglass, to be in pretty good shape, and you can see the river gate, which is essentially the way into town. Like you have to cross over the area where this dam is. So if you imagine that the walls kind of are on both sides of the river, and then there's a gate, which I'm going to say, Aram, give me a history check with advantage, because presumably you would have studied about this. I just want to make sure.
Well, that's a 17 plus 5.
Great.
I
Okay,
can
so you're
only
fine.
ignore that.
So yes,
22.
you've actually read a little bit about this gate, and this is actually, it was an open sort of like lattice work kind of gate. It was more of a sluice than a dam. And it was constructed for 2 reasons. One, to just make sure that water could still flow through and not ever sort of flood the city. But also to protect the city from invaders who might be coming up the river. But to have like this sort of gate where they couldn't make their way through by water. And also, in case anything fell in the river, it would be caught in the gate, anything of size or value before it was lost down the river. So any goats or anything, right?
Yeah.
You also recall that there are gate guards that were constructed here. Now these are animated objects. These are sort of like animated ballista, which are artillery, right? That were constructed, that were programmed to protect the city by gnomish artificers back in the day.
And we just know they existed, or we see like some dead ones.
Well, you haven't looked, but you would have known they existed. Again, when this disappeared 250 years ago, they existed. So that's what you know about the gate
I
slaves.
think I express that and say, like, so if you have a shield, I would recommend sort of donning it.
Cool.
Okay.
We'll follow that recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you? But are you currently like? Are you resting? Are you staying here? Are you lighting your campfire here? Or are you moving forward into the city tonight?
How late is it?
It's magic hour.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's probably safest to approach in daylight, but it's
Yeah.
entirely down to you.
yes.
Why don't we stay in one of these houses?
I mean, I'm just personally, I would like to see in the trees, just because we get so much. We have houses back in the crown.
But we'll have to head back out.
Yeah. I mean, does someone get like, ooh, spooky ghost town vibe? Is that just me?
I would like to try to find the fanciest house on the block.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, they're all of alike, but you find one that has still like very decently upholstered furniture and so
Yeah.
forth. So yeah.
I'm looking for the comfiest bed.
Yeah.
Probably
Great.
safest to be in a house, I suppose, and not to
Yeah.
split up.
Spooky
I-
ghost house.
I could just hang out in my shop. And also, I'm not sure about like these houses. I agree, Ghost Town's scary.
Yeah. Are there any wild? Is there any wildlife around here?
Yeah, I mean, like there's rats and things, scampering little beasties, but nothing.
Yeah, okay.
crazy.
Yeah. What's the rat's mood about this town? How are they feeling? I can communicate with small beasts.
The rats are okay. They're scavengers. They're like they don't look skittish or anything. They look pretty comfortable where they are. They're like sorting through things and everything, but they don't, they see you and they kind of look at you, but they don't dart away or anything.
Right. Well, I mean,
They don't look
like hey, my rat. What's
Oh, you're talking to a rat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I a small creature.
Roderick's logic is ghosts in a town like this are just as likely to be outside.
Yeah. Anything spooky or like big scary feel?
Are you using a special talent to talk to the rat, or are you
I'm
just talking to the
gnome,
rat
so
as
I
a
can
person?
communicate with small beasts.
Yes, I'm just making just making sure that you are talking to him. So how does this work? Do you?
I
can
can
talk to
communicate
him, though,
simple
but-
ideas.
Yeah, but can he?
Yeah,
make it
Yeah,
talk to you?
like we can communicate simple ideas.
Yeah, so I guess you were saying like safe?
Scary?
Question mark?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Scary? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great. So you can communicate simple ideas. So what are you communicating to the rat?
Just like every form of prey and scavenger has a feeling for like the feel when a predator comes around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's sort of like an instinctive vibe, and I sort of basically ask if that's like if they've been feeling that at all.
The rat kind of like rustles up to you and kind of sniffs at the air with big orange teeth, and it says, "City's got good food, but big cat now, no good. Big cat."
Okay, so guys, I don't know if this is like a literal cat or like a spiritual cat sort of thing, but there is some sort of predator around this town. Just so you know, I would feel a lot more comfortable in the woods. I know you guys like houses and things like that, but there's moss. Have you moss is great, it's soft.
This is going to be the way this would work in the crown is it would be a decision that the first would make, because now there's 2 of you voting for and 2 of you voting against.
I'm agnostic on the issue.
So there's 1 of you voting for and 1 of you agnostic and 2 of you against.
Well, I would also this is new information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find out if the cat's outside the city too.
I don't know if I can. Well, I mean, I don't know. Where?
Where's safe?
Like they said in the city, right? Right, the rat.
So, yeah, and so now you're not in the city. You're in the outskirts. You're in the suburban. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just kind of around. But if we're in the woods where you have a lot of like little warning eyes and like trees and things like this, I don't know, just like having a roof over our head.
All right.
So anyways, first, what do you think?
The
What'd
thing
you think,
is, I can't see very well in the middle of the day. So what I would like to do is approach. I'd like to rest a bit, all of us, and approach well before the sun rises. Early hours of the morning.
Good.
I think, therefore, it's best to rest here so that we don't have to take time packing back out into the forest and then coming back in again in the morning.
I can take a first watch if everyone would like to rest, and then we can trade out and then head inside.
Yeah. Are there any plants around the house?
Are there any plants around the house? I mean, there's plants, growing in places in the street. Oh, like house plants?
No, I mean like
Yeah.
I don't know, like plants, trees.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's some.
What, especially the one building that was the
Yeah.
derelict building?
Sort of reclaimed by nature kind of thing. Yeah, there's
Okay.
definitely plants around.
Great. Then I'm gonna compromise. I'm gonna cast plant growth.
Okay.
So all normal plants in a 100-foot radius become thick and overgrown. A creature moving through the area must spend 4 feet of movement for every 1 feet it moves.
Yep.
But I just imagine that like all the grass and all the trees just sort of tangle the house.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
For
All right.
100 feet all around.
Okay. Around the house that you're in. Okay, great.
Okay.
So you do that. Stay in the house. Bed down. And then we can.
So should we take a short rest?
Why don't you
Or
take a
long
short
rest?
rest or a long rest? Yeah, it's
It's
fine.
nighttime.
It's nighttime. You can take your long rest.
Do you guys set a watch, or do you? just all-
Actually,
I'm watching.
no. Or at least, hey, well, I have this thing. He pulls out his whip, and it's like it has like this magical like aura about it. My whip tells us when anything's nearby and wake us all up if someone wants to hit us.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent.
So
Okay.
the magical item's a whip of warning, and so
Great.
anyone within 30 feet, unless it's by if we're put to sleep by magical means, that's the only case where we won't be woken up.
Okay.
Otherwise, if anything comes ready to attack us, we cannot be surprised.
Great. Well, we'll fast forward through the night then.
so that is a long
And
rest.
your
Long rest,
your
yes.
whip has not gone off. You seem peaceful in your plant growth house, and presumably you can get back out of said house easily enough. So now it's early morning hours, like pre-dawn hours, right? How would you like to handle the crossing of the gate into the city?
Okay, we're going to move quietly now. I don't. It's possible that Arthur should stay here.
Arthur says, "Sir, would you like me to stay behind?"
Will we come back this way? Seems more efficient to bring him with us, no?
Well, more efficient, certainly, but at some point we need to begin sneaking. Most likely.
Can Arthur be sneaky?
Not super sneaky. Certainly not to the level of you guys. I mean, you are, 7th, 8th level adventurers. Arthur is, he's maybe a retired campaigner, but not an adventurer.
Bones are creaky.
Yeah, and he's an old guy, so
Alright.
he's a butler.
Can I basically put a protection spell on him for free? Just
What do you got?
Sure,
free spells.
It's just for flavor.
We'll say that you can you can devise something with the same herbalism kit that you use to protect to dope up Riley. You can give him something that kind of calms his nerves and also sharpens his sentences, and
Great.
so you can leave him behind in a fairly a state
Senses,
that
I think.
I can give him the other half of that. I can give him the other half of that pill that I had.
Yeah.
The other half.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Speaking
Alright,
of,
so you just pass it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Valium, is that worn off now?
Yeah, the war up with your rest,
Okay.
yeah.
So fur bullets are good with animals.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna have him watch Franklin too. If we have to climb walls and things like that, Franklin hates climbing.
Okay.
Walter's coming with us.
Oh, and he's jazzed about this. He's like, "Oh, wonderful! We'll make good companions."
So, all right. So you move towards the city,
Yep.
and as you do, you can see.
Okay, so now we're moving more quietly and.
Yes. So would you like to make a stealth roll to do that?
Does
need to be
Walter have a-
stealthy.
Where are we all?
You don't
Also,
need to be if
I
you don't
did,
want
I
to.
did
No,
ask
we're
them to
not
start
stealthing,
working
we're
on
just-
lunch for when we come back.
Okay.
So
Yeah, let's say we're not stealthing yet, but we're moving. We're not. We're a quiet little line of
Yes.
people heading down.
So
Yeah.
as you move towards the city, you see, from let's say about 50 feet away, it becomes obvious these animated ballista, which are basically constructs, right? So forged by gnomish inventors. Arm has told you all about the constructs, which are they were programmed to attack anyone not of the crown trying to enter the colony.
In a manner of speaking, everything is a construct. Of course, this is a different kind of construct.
Yes, this is a very literal kind of construct.
So will it recognize us all as being of the crown?
Probably not.
I don't think so. I think probably. Well, I'm going to
We
speak,
could-
and then should I roll history to see if I'm right?
Sure.
I think that probably back when they were created, they would have been manned, and so there would have been someone that would be able to temper them if you didn't want to attack who was coming. But I do worry, based on the lack of people, that
Give me a history
perhaps
check.
they will just attack whoever we see. That's my hunch. Is that advantage or no advantage?
Yeah, I will say you've studied it.
That's a 13.
Okay. Actually, you start to say it, and then you realize you're not quite right. These were actually they did have manned ones as well, which you see no sign of anyone at. But the 4 that you're referring to were they are they are magical constructs. They operate on their own volition. And I will also say that the magic that was used. Will make them sort of operate under very specific code of programming, right? Which is to attack people that are not that it perceives as being not from the crown.
Okay.
That code of programming these are like devices that are built to sort of be, refurbished every 30 or 40 years or so.
Would
So I think
Roderick
that's
have
right,
some
Dave.
knowledge of this based on his own magical studies?
On the magic side, yeah, give me an Arcana check with advantage.
Cool. So I think in that case, I say that pretty much that of like they will attack us
well,
if they don't think we're the
the first
crown,
one-
but
Just see if
they
you
might
break.
not have been re-upped, so we don't know how ballistic the magic is.
So that is a 24.
Great. So this magic, given the time that has passed, this magic should have worn off.
Okay. Well, unless there's something very unusual going on here, there's very low chances that they're actually working at this point. 'Cause
So they
that's
probably
a
won't
good
switch
point.
on?
No, they're not gonna have juice anymore.
Okay.
Well, as
I
there's
would
no,
say better safe than sorry.
How
though.
about-
there is something strange going on? I think.
I'll go first. Like presenting the whip again.
Presenting the whip.
Yeah, to
Okay.
just say, I'll go first. And
Alright.
Does it glow blue?
Only when it works, sir.
Very good.
yeah, it's creature specific, as decided by me.
Okay. So so you were presenting the whip and
But yeah, I'm
and
just
walking
like kind of
forward.
like holding it out as I'm like walking closer to these things and going a little bit ahead of the party.
Okay, great.
Mm,
So as you do, you see, so you get 50 feet, nothing happens. 40 feet, nothing happens. When you get within 30 feet, suddenly, actually, I'm going to say, you've only seen, there's only 3 animated ballista, and as you get closer, you see that one of them has fallen and is smashed to pieces in the river. So there's only 3 of them still extant.
Okay.
And as you see, all 3 kind of like turn to you, full of life,
Whoa.
and sort of like look you up and down,
Careful, Riley.
turn to each other as if conferring in some inner arcane language, and and attack. Specifically you. They are only going for you.
Oh
That
no.
makes sense.
Roll initiative.
Yeah, let's actually roll I'm gonna say that let's roll initiative for
Okay.
just the two, just you and these guys at first.
Alright. Well, luckily, because of this whip I get advantage on initiative. And I get 11.
With advantage? Oh no.
Yeah, the other one was a 1, so let's like
Yay.
They did worse, so you're okay. So
Also,
Hey.
just so you know, everyone, as long as you're within 10 feet of me, you get advantage on
On initiative?
On saving throws? Or?
on yes, saving throws.
saving throws. Amazing.
These are big rock throwing ballistas, or these are massive bolt shooting ballistas.
that's the bullshit.
Oh, not
it's like
advantage.
like a
plus
scorpion,
3.
like
Sorry.
a
Yeah.
But that's
giant bow or a giant crossbow.
Also
better.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so Riley, you get first move here.
Okay, so how in shape do these things look? Do they look like they would like break at the smallest thing right now?
Let's see. You without using your action to go ahead and to make that check, we'll
yeah,
say
just
that
basic looking.
Riley, I mean, passive perception of 12 is not bad. You would say that some of them are in better shape than others, so some time has passed. The one furthest to the left appears to be the most pristine, and actually, conveniently, as they go down the row, the next one over looks a little worse off. The next one over a little worse off, and then of course the fourth one is the one that is kind of broken off and has crashed down into the ravine below.
Okay, so then I'm going to. Then Riley's going to advance until he's like within 10 feet of them. He's like, I think we can take these guys. And then he's like, he is going to.
Oh no.
He's going.
No.
He's going to have both of his whips. So he'll have his regular whip of warning and another whip, and then he's going to go forward and attack the one that's closest to the one.
No, wait. Can you use 2 whips at once because they're not light weapons? So
Yeah,
you'd only
not
use
for
1
two
whip at a
whipping.
time. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just have the whip and a shield.
As cool as it is.
Yeah. I have a whip and a shield.
All right.
And then, okay, I'll just like attack the one that was like next to the broken one.
Sure. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
And this one you can tell kind of like as it tracks towards you, it's kind of like a little juddery, like almost as if it's not really.
Oh, that's a natural 20.
That
Oh,
one.
nice.
And, okay, so then that's going to be for first attack is going to be 9.
Okay.
And then the next one is 2, 6 is 8.
Okay.
So it's 17.
17
and then
total, right?
I'm also going to do one of my special things. And so, are they like in front of like the? Are they wielding anything? Do they have any weapons?
Well, I mean, it is a weapon.
They are weapons, yeah.
They are a weapon. Yeah.
They don't
But
have any
basically, I
separate-
can't disarm them.
No.
Is the question.
No.
So I'm going to do a sweeping attack then. And when I hit with a melee attack, I can spend 1 superiority die to deal damage to another creature within 5 feet of the original target.
Within how many feet?
5 feet.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
they're are they spread out further than that? or
Yeah,
they-
I said they're spread out.
Yeah.
Let's spread out further than that. All right. So we'll try and you said there's a river near them, right?
So basically they're essentially like on top of this dam, this river gate that's on the river.
Oh, okay.
So they're overlooking the river.
They're overlooking the river. So this is a question. So there's the pushing attack special thing for battle masters.
Mhm.
could pushing also be used as pulling?
I think a shove can be whatever direction you want. So sure, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to the one that I attacked. I want to pull it closer, like so it comes off the edge.
Okay.
And so it's a DC 16 strength save.
All right. We're gonna give it advantage because it is anchored.
Yeah. Okay.
What is the DC?
16.
Okay. That's a natural 19, and that's a natural 12. So it does get a 21 total. So it is gonna stay positioned.
All right. Well, otherwise, it took 17 points damage.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, like, you know, chunks of rotted wood are like, you know, cracking off of it as you whip at it, and you actually, you know, pull at it hard enough that one of the bearings that it was rotating on rips free. So it's very clunky. You know, mechanically it's still the same, but you've clearly done a ton of damage to this one that was already in fairly bad shape. You want to give them one turn, the ballista one turn?
Yeah, look at the bliss one turn.
All right. So the ballista is having no one else to aim at. They all turn toward you, and one at a time. First, the one that you just beat up. It's mad. Luckily, it's not armed. It's not carrying anything else. It's just what it is. That's going to be 7 plus a 13. That does not hit you.
Does not hit.
All right. Next one is a 19, which will hit you.
Yes.
And the last one is 12, which will miss. So only one of them is going to hit you. It's going to do so for, wow, that's 2 1s and a 3. That's 5 big points of fire damage, because as it shoots, the bolt ignites magically aflame, and a giant, massive, like 5 foot long crossbow quarrel, like flies through the air at point blank range, ignites on fire, crashes into your body, and does 5 points of damage.
And as the rest of you see this happening and see the firebolt go and hit Riley, we are going to cut briefly back to the watch.
Oh, quick.
Can we do a quick pause also?
Sure.
Oh, my laptop just turned off. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was just like, okay, which
Text
thing am I
failures.
gonna do? I'm gonna save this.
Okay.
Back to
So,
back to the watch. All right.
all right, so back to the watch.
Yeah. The watch is good. Love having you on.
All right. So the watch, we're going to begin the watch's first watch. And as sun sets, you all gather together at the appointed place to begin the first round of your duty. Kurdrick is there to send you on your way and make sure that you know your instructions well. If you have any final questions for him before you begin.
Ken puts on his pin.
So, how long is our patrol for?
You patrol all night. So dusk to dawn, and then in the morning you get to catch a few quick winks, and then you're off to your actual job in the camp.
And you said we get a 10 or 15 minute break?
Yeah, they're very generous.
Very extremely generous.
Yep. So he sends you off, and
Do you give us helmets? Say to Kurdrick. Anything?
No.
Cloaks?
You got a badge, manacles, and lanterns. What more do you need?
Nothing, sir.
that's all we
Nothing.
need.
I suppose we could find a batons, a billy club, something like that.
Well, I mean, it almost seems like this is a question for the town blacksmith.
Yeah, well, I'm going to turn in. I like to go to bed early, so you keep the peace, and see you in the morning. Remember, you report to the magistrate when your watch is ended. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank
Absolutely.
You, sir.
And with that, Kurdrick leaves you. You turn out and you survey the bustling town as the sun sets and people go about their various end-of-day chores. You see that the tavern, the first pint, is beginning to fill with people. The last bits of fresh fish are being sold in the small muddy marketplace, and people are getting ready to go in for the night. And we will fade to black right there.
Aww. Okay.
Thank you for watching episode 5, and that was very low. And yeah, stay tuned and see what happens to the town watch and the scouts. Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
And the van.
Yeah, you mean
what
kind of funeral they get, you mean?
Thank you for to 20 Sided Store. Thank you to McClure's Pickles, and thank you to Sirenscape, who has been making the audio for today, and
Not this
Artisan
particular
Dice.
song, but
Yes, not this particular song, but everything else.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Woo! Welcome back. Hey,
Hello.
Carla.
All my wine is gone.
Oh, good, good. We didn't even get to the wander traps.
No, I didn't need them. I mean, I do need them, but I didn't need them to.
Yeah. We got a new party, the Watch.
I've been so excited for the watch to finally get introduced.
Yeah, I think the watch is maybe my favorite party. They're such a
Really?
I really like them. I also like the small town vibe. Their problems are much more local, and that's a lot of fun because we get to meet a lot of the townsfolk and see some interesting things. Next week we have a fun scene with them in the tavern, which is really
Oh,
quintessential
that scene
D&D.
is so much fun.
Yeah, you guys do that. You do a great job on that. It goes so unexpectedly, but it's really fun. So that was a fun one. The van. Oh my god. Oh yeah, it was.
Hey, oh god. I mean, yeah, like anyone who saw the episode can see that I was straight up crying because
Yeah,
I take my make believe very seriously.
and we love you for it.
Thank
It was that was
It
pretty
was
crazy.
so upsetting.
Yeah, Tom and I were like, we're really gonna test them and really, make it a hard thing, and it was that. And I actually play tested that monster, like the blob monster. I play tested it like 3 times with friends just to make sure it wasn't too unbalanced, and we really, narrowed it down. I feel like we got it just about the right balance.
It was so like I feel like we would have had to like be playing. It was just so hard that he was so hard. It was so wrong.
It was. I think had there been more like indications that this was the massive boss battle, you guys would have buffed up before you went in, and maybe
Yeah.
gone, not split the party, that kind of thing. But it was
There,
it was
there,
wild.
yeah, there were a lot of things that went wrong due to our own cockiness.
Yeah. So let's see. Do we have any questions? Actually, we do have a question from Taco Man, who could not be here
Taco
tonight,
Man!
but we love him. And his question was, he wanted to know what inspired you, and he wanted to know both from the DM side and from the character side. So, Carla, what inspired your characters?
Olga was the first character I got, and I think it came from I knew I wanted to do distinct voices, and I thought about what I'd want to do with a Russian character, and I said I want to do a Russian orc, and then within that, orc barbarian made sense, but I wanted to play against type, so I wanted to make some like a barbarian character who was an orc and who loved the fine things in life to sort of do like break expectations, and that's how Olga was born. Rod actually talked about my inspiration for Roderick in the beginning, which is and Roderick, I think, was me pushing myself away from my own type the most, because like a businessman is sort of the opposite of how I see myself. But he's really inspired by like the like eccentric railroad tycoons and oil barons of the 19th century. And he's so much more fun to play than I think that I could have realized he would be.
Yeah, he was blast, and Jade, you talked about as well. You have a lot of experience getting owned by siblings.
Yeah, Jade. I don't know. Jade just kind of came to me whole. There's definitely some Anne of Green Gables DNA in Jade. Just because that was like the first character I was like, oh, it me growing up, but with a little bit more of that sort of tomboyishness I think I had, and the part of me that wishes I was a cool archaeologist.
And you do a smashing job of playing one.
Thank you. And Zahala. I don't know if I want to talk too much about my inspiration for Zahala.
That's fair. And Zahala has she's got some history, she's got some things to,
She does, but because it hasn't really been revealed yet in the game, I think that's a question I will answer some other time.
That sounds fair. Wonderful. So, we just, Elion Kaplan just said, or Elion said, Roderick reminds me of Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. That's hilarious.
That is exactly the vibe. I'm so happy to hear that.
That's awesome.
That's so gratifying. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. And that's a good movie. It's hard to watch, but wonderful. All right. So, Carla, do you remember because we filmed this back before COVID. So do you remember where we're going in episode 6? Do you have any recollection of where things go from here? A little teaser for the crowd.
Tavern. The Wander Traps have to continue banding together as a family for the trials and travails that face them in this strange new continent. And we get to see a little bit more of who our characters in the town watch are. And ooh, I think we get to see the beginning of some interesting. There's a lot of secrets in Akram, and we start getting glimpses of them with the scouts.
Yeah, absolutely. And also there is an Easter egg from one of our test runs with the
Oh,
scouts
yes.
coming up. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week.
I
That'll be
am
super fun.
I am particularly invested in that Easter egg.
Yes, absolutely. All right, awesome. Carla, is there anything else that you'd like to plug? Anywhere else that people can catch you?
Yeah, you can catch me at Acts of Carla on basically all the big social medias. I really should have thought about this before we did this.
Well,
I acted right and stuff. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram.
there you go. And a reminder to please, if you can, go to inclusiveroots.org/donate and throw them a few bucks. Roots is really an amazing program, and we couldn't be happier to be helping them get a little money. So thank you all. Oh,
wait, I
yeah,
thought of a thing. Our company, Punching Up Productions, has a show coming out, a podcast called Superhuman Public Radio. It's basically NPR in a superhero universe. And
I love it.
It's absolutely fantastic. Jack Dorsey and Max Clark, who's in this show, have been working on it, and there might be some cast members from Difficult Terrain showing up as voice artists on it. So
oh, that's fun.
out.
That is fun. That sounds amazing. And I think for everyone who doesn't know, Maximilian and Carla are married. So Jade and Amethyst, their constant bickering comes from a married couple, which is just delightful. And that sounds amazing. I can't wait to hear more. And when you get links and stuff, please give them to us so we can throw them out there in the chat. And everyone else, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Oh, and get ready.
Raiding.
We're going to raid. We're going to throw ourselves into somebody else's thing. I think we're going to Drunks and Dragons.
Avasti, scallywags.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.